Chapter 11:19. The deeper they ventured into the world of ice, the colder the air became. Towards the end, it reached 1,000,000 degrees below zero. Even an ordinary dominator would freeze to death in an environment that was 1,000,000 degrees below zero. It was no wonder that there were no traces of people here. Because the temperature was too low, Mo Qingyun sent Xia into the 5-directional pagoda to prevent her from getting hurt. As for Mo Qingyun and the others, their true strength wasn't as simple as it seemed on the surface. Therefore, they were able to withstand the cold. Just like that, Mo Qingyun and the others walked for another month before they finally emerged from the world of ice. After walking out of the world of ice and snow, a dark and boundless world appeared before Mo Qingyun's eyes. He Xian paused for a moment as he looked at the darkness before him. Then, he pointed to the right and said, "Qingyun, we'll reach the spatial tear in 3 days if we continue in this direction." He Xian led Mo Qingyun to the spatial tear after he finished speaking. 3 days later, a crack with a faint glow appeared in front of Mo Qingyun and the others. This was the spatial tear that He Xian spoke of. In this endless darkness, the faintly glowing spatial crack was like a navigation light, guiding Mo Qingyun's group of 4 forward. Looking at the spatial rift in the darkness ahead, Mo Qingyun and the others quickened their pace and rushed towards the spatial rift at top speed. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of the spatial tear. It was like a natural chasm in front of him. Through the spatial tear, Mo Qingyun could see that on the other side of the spatial tear was a boundless expanse of stars. Many twinkling stars could be seen in that expanse of stars, as well as a galaxy that looked like a silver screen. It's so beautiful. I didn't think that the outside of the Tianhan continent would look like this. Mo Qingyun sighed as he looked at the scenery on the other side of the spatial tear. A sense of surprise rose in his heart. Let's go through the spatial rift. Sizing up the space crack in front of him, Mo Qingyun instructed He Xian and the others before flying into the space crack. When Mo Qingyun flew into the spatial fissure, He Xian's expression immediately tensed up. He quickly caught up to Mo Qingyun and said, "Qingyun, there's a terrifying suction force in the spatial fissure. You must be careful. If you are pulled into the spatial abyss by that suction force, even an immortal will have a 90% chance of survival." Yes. Hearing He Xian's reminder, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly tensed up. He paid more attention to this spatial crack. As expected, when Mo Qingyun entered the spatial rift, he felt a shocking suction force. After sensing this suction force, Mo Qingyun immediately pulled himself together and released essence energy to resist the tearing of this suction force. The spatial fissure wasn't very long. Mo Qingyun and the others flew for about 15 minutes before they passed through it. After passing through the spatial fissure, Mo Qingyun arrived in the boundless starry sky. What entered his eyes were countless stars and galaxies. When he saw Mo Qingyun looking at the stars and galaxies, He Xian stepped forward and explained to Mo Qingyun, "Qingyun, these stars are the continents surrounding the Wildlands continent. As for the galaxies, they're the ancient paths that connect the Wildlands continent to the other continents." So many continents and ancient paths? Mo Qingyun's heart skipped a beat as he looked at the countless stars and galaxies before him. He felt that he was just too insignificant. Only now did he realize just how vast the difference between the Tianhan continent and the Wildlands continent was. Why was it said that rulers were the beginning of cultivation? While Mo Qingyun was still in shock, He Xian took out a bee-skin map. "This is a map of the stars that Iron Wing and I drew up. We should be here right now. These are the 7 ancient paths that connect to the Tianhan continent. Which path should we go to first?" "Let's go to the path of immortality first." Mo Qingyun answered without hesitation when he heard He Xian's question. Then he asked curiously, "Oh right, if others have a map of the stars, can they travel through the stars?" "In theory, yes. But the stars are just too vast. There is no complete map of the stars." He Xian nodded when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. Then his expression turned serious. Without a complete map of the stars, Even immortals can't travel through the stars. If they're not careful, they'll get lost in the stars. That's why very few people would choose to travel through the stars. I see. Mo Qingyun nodded when he heard He Xian's explanation. The worry in his heart lessened a lot. In that case, he didn't have to worry too much about people traveling through the stars to the Tianhan continent. Even if someone did enter the Tianhan continent, they would be able to ignore the cultivators of the Tianhan continent with their terrifying strength. With He Xian leading the way, Mo Qingyun followed the map to the path of immortality. Senior He Xian, how many continents does this map of the stars cover? On the way to the path of immortality, Mo Qingyun looked at the star map in He Xian's hand and asked curiously. This map of the stars only covers the Tianhan continent and the 2 continents around it. This is only the most basic map of the stars. He Xian gave a simple reply when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. Back then, the old master trained on the Umbra continent, which is next to the Tianhan continent. Because the old master wanted to travel through space to other continents, he came to the Tianhan continent. Who would have thought that the old master would meet 2 of his enemies on the Tianhan continent? They engaged in a frenzied battle. Although the old master died on the Tianhan continent, the 2 of them were killed by the old master. Because the old master died on the Tianhan continent, the powerhouses of the Tianhan demon clan were enraged. They gave the order to seal the passage from the Tianhan continent to the Wildlands continent. The Iron Wing added after He Xian's explanation. Furthermore, in order to vent their anger, the powerhouses of the Tianhan continent killed all sovereigns and above. So that's how it was. No wonder all the sovereigns and above on the Tianhan continent suddenly disappeared one day. Mo Qingyun's expression changed when he heard the Iron Wing's explanation. The question in his heart had been answered. Mo Qingyun continued to chat with He Xian and the others as they hurried towards the path of immortality. 3 months later, under Mo Qingyun's group of 4, they finally arrived at the immortal path. We've finally arrived at the path of immortality. Mo Qingyun sighed when he saw that he had returned to the path of immortality. Let's find someone to ask where this place is. Mo Qingyun began to look around. He wanted to find someone to ask for directions. Chapter 11:20. Looking into the distance. As Mo Qingyun swept his gaze across the sky, several figures in a dense forest entered his line of sight one after another. After seeing these figures, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. His body moved and flew towards them. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived near these people and saw that they were fighting with a horn-piercing tiger. These people's cultivation wasn't high. They were only in the 4th seal symbol master realm, which was equivalent to a warrior in the Yuandan realm. Facing the bombardment of the horned-piercing tiger with the strength of a Pill Palace realm expert, they could be said to be in a perilous situation. They could be killed by the horned-piercing tiger at any moment. Roar. After the savage beast carried Mo Qingyun closer, it roared at the horned-piercing tiger, causing it to lie on the ground in fright. At this time, the people fighting with the horn-piercing tiger also noticed the existence of Mo Qingyun and the others. Intense reverence emerged on their faces. Just a roar was enough to cause the horn-piercing tiger to lie on the ground in fright, not daring to move. This demonic beast was too terrifying. To be able to make such a demonic beast submit, it could be seen that the identity of the young man riding on the demonic beast was even more extraordinary. Senior, thank you for saving us. Looking at Mo Qingyun standing on the savage beast's back, these people revealed expressions of reverence and quickly bowed to Mo Qingyun to express their gratitude. No need to be so polite. Mo Qingyun didn't care about these people's actions. He waved his hand indifferently and asked, "Where is this place? How far is it from the Sky Demon Talisman sect?" Sky Demon Talisman sect? Sky Demon Talisman sect, one of the top 10 immortal sects? Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, these people's expressions suddenly trembled. In their hearts, they were even more in awe of Mo Qingyun. It turned out that this senior was an expert from the 10 great immortal sects. No wonder he was so powerful. After learning about Mo Qingyun's identity, a young man in linen clothes walked out from the crowd. He cupped his hands and bowed. Senior, we're just outer disciples of the Six Seals sect. We don't have the ability to know the location of the Sky Demon Talisman sect. If you want to know the location of the Sky Demon Talisman sect, perhaps you can ask the seniors in my sect. Take me to your sect. Hearing the youth's suggestion, Mo Qingyun nodded and motioned for him to lead the way. Yes. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had accepted his suggestion, the youth nodded respectfully and prepared to bring Mo Qingyun to his sect. However, just as the youth was about to leave, he glanced at the horned, spiky tiger with a complicated expression. Seeing the youth's action, Mo Qingyun immediately guessed what he was thinking. He must have accepted the task of killing the horned, spiky tiger. Knowing the youth's thoughts, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at the horned, spiky tiger and killed it directly. He said, "This is your reward for leading the way." Thank you, senior." Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, the youth immediately became excited and quickly thanked Mo Qingyun. Then, the youth put away the horned, spiky tiger and led Mo Qingyun to his sect. The sect that the youth and the others belonged to was the Sea Talisman sect, which was slightly weaker than the Thatch Talisman sect. After a quarter of an hour, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Sea Talisman sect under the guidance of the youth and the others. After bringing Mo Qingyun to the Sea Talisman sect, the youth did not dare to delay and immediately led Mo Qingyun to the conference hall. When Mo Qingyun walked into the conference hall, he saw a few elders sitting there discussing something. "Sect Master, Great Elder, this senior is looking for you." Walking into the meeting hall, the youth in linen clothes had a respectful expression on his face as he reported to the people in the hall. Hearing the words of the linen-clothed youth, a white-haired old man in the hall immediately showed a displeased expression and scolded the linen-clothed youth. "How dare you? Is the conference hall a place where an outer disciple like you can enter? Get out of here right now." I asked him to bring me here. After hearing the white-haired elder's words, Mo Qingyun's face darkened slightly, and he released some of his aura to suppress the youth. 8 Seal Talisman Supreme. Under the suppression of Mo Qingyun's aura, the faces of the people in the conference hall changed drastically, and they looked at Mo Qingyun in horror. "Fu! Talisman Sovereign." Hearing the elder's words in the conference hall, the youth's legs immediately turned to jelly. He looked at Mo Qingyun with extreme shock. He had never thought that this youth who was similar in age to him would possess such terrifying strength. "Say, senior, please calm down. I know I was wrong." After learning about Mo Qingyun's cultivation, the white-haired elder did not dare to act presumptuously anymore. He hurriedly begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. Mo Qingyun glanced at the white-haired elder indifferently when he saw his actions. It was rare for him to bicker with him. He said in a deep voice, "You don't have to worry. I came to the Sea Talisman sect to ask about this place and the distance to the Sky Devil Talisman sect." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone's expressions relaxed, and their hearts that had been hanging in the air settled down. Then, the sect master of the Sea Talisman sect stood up and took out a beast skin scroll. He handed it to Mo Qingyun and said, "Senior, this is the map of the entire immortal path. We are now in a region called the Sea Ring Mountain. It will take about half a year to reach the Sky Devil Talisman sect from the Sea Ring Mountain." Sea Ring Mountain. Mo Qingyun followed the direction of the sect master of the Sea Talisman sect and found his location. It was a very remote place on the immortal path. Judging from the map, the Sea Ring Mountain was an island connected to the immortal path. The two were separated by a sea. It seems that if I want to reach the Sky Devil Talisman sect, I have to pass through the Sea Ring Mountain. After looking at the map, Mo Qingyun had a rough idea of the route to the Sky Devil Talisman sect. Then, Mo Qingyun put away the map and pointed at the linen-clothed youth. "He is not bad. You can train him." Yes. We will do our best to train Shani." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the sect master of the Sea Talisman sect and the elders nodded quickly and assured Mo Qingyun that they would protect him. Seeing the sect master and the elders' actions, the linen-clothed youth was stunned and his whole body trembled. He could not believe that he would be trained by the sect master and the elders just because he showed Mo Qingyun the way. Thump, thump, thump. While Mo Qingyun and the others were talking, a series of hurried footsteps came from outside the conference hall. Then, Mo Qingyun saw a middle-aged man with a long beard. With a nervous expression, he said in a deep voice, "Sect Master, something bad has happened. The Dust Talisman sect is here." "What? The Dust Talisman sect is here? Has Xie Chun broken through to the Seventh Seal realm?" Hearing the middle-aged man's words, the sect master of the Sea Talisman sect was shocked and terrified. He turned to look at Mo Qingyun. Seeing the sect master of the Sea Talisman sect's action, Mo Qingyun immediately understood the former's intention. The former was asking for help. "Since I have taken your map, I will help you this time." Chapter 1121. Outside the Sea Talisman sect. A middle-aged man with a mustache stood in the air with his arms crossed and a smug smile on his face. He looked down at the Sea Talisman sect. The mustache man was the sect master of the Dust Talisman sect, Xie Chun. Xie Chun was the direct disciple of Hai Yinan. He had tried to steal the inheritance treasure of the Sea Talisman sect and was caught red-handed by Hai Yinan. Hai Yinan had expelled him from the Sea Talisman sect. Who would have thought that Xie Chun was such a big shot? Not long after he left the Sea Talisman sect, he founded his own sect, the Dust Talisman sect. Now that Xie Chun's cultivation had broken through to the Seventh Seal before Hai Yinan, he came to the Sea Talisman sect to seek revenge for the humiliation he had suffered in the past. The world was truly unpredictable. Of course, Xie Chun would never have thought that Mo Qingyun would stand up for the Sea Talisman sect today. After a while, Xie Chun saw Mo Qingyun and the others. A cold smile appeared on his face as he slowly descended to the ground. "Master, long time no see. I have always remembered the teachings you taught me in the past." Stopping in front of Mo Qingyun and the others, Xie Chun had a cold smile on his face as he mocked Hai Yinan. If it weren't for Master's teachings back then, this disciple wouldn't have today's achievements. In order to express Master's kindness in teaching me, this disciple has decided to give you a big gift today. Humph! Hai Yinan, don't have the ability to teach a disciple like you. Hai Yinan's expression darkened when he heard Xie Chun's proud words. He replied in a displeased tone, "If I knew there would be trouble today, I wouldn't have been soft-hearted and crippled your cultivation back then." Hai Yinan had been filled with regret ever since Xie Chun had become so powerful. He should not have been soft-hearted and let Xie Chun go. His actions proved that there would be endless trouble if he let the tiger return to the mountain. After Hai Yinan coldly replied to Xie Chun, he turned his head and looked at Mo Qingyun with a pleading expression. He knew that they could not deal with Xie Chun. Only Mo Qingyun could make a move. Xie Chun frowned when he saw Hai Yinan's actions. His gaze towards Mo Qingyun turned cold as he said, "Kid, you're not from the Ocean Talisman sect. What are you doing here? You don't have the right to ask why I came to the Ocean Glyph sect." Hearing Xie Chun's words, Mo Qingyun responded indifferently. "I'll give you a chance to live. Destroy your seal and kneel down to admit your mistakes, and I can spare your life." I didn't expect you to be even more arrogant than I was back then." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Xie Chun's expression changed slightly. He sneered and said, "Boy, you probably don't know, right? The person standing in front of you is a seven-seal great symbol master. Even Hai Yinan is no match for me." Xie Chun's expression turned arrogant as he glanced disdainfully at Mo Qingyun and said arrogantly, "I, Xie Chun, am now considered a prominent figure. Given my current status, I don't care about a kid like you. I'll give you a chance. Destroy your seal and kneel down to beg for mercy, and I can spare your life." Seeing Xie Chun's actions, the expressions of Hai Yinan and the others immediately became somewhat strange. They looked at Xie Chun with sympathy in their eyes. Xie Chun was really not afraid of death. A person who had just broken through to the seven-seal great symbol master dared to act so pretentiously in front of an eight-seal great symbol master. He must be tired of living. Xie, how dare you speak to Lord Symbol Master in such a manner? Quickly kneel down and beg for mercy. Hearing Xie arrogant words, Hai Yinan's face darkened as he berated him. His eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He's a symbol master? Hearing Hai Yinan's words, Xie immediately revealed a mocking expression. He pointed at Mo Qingyun and mocked. If he's a symbol master, then I, Xie, am a symbol overlord. After saying this dismissive words, the pride on Xie face grew even more. He continued, Hai Yinan, don't think that you can make me give up on the legacy talisman of the weapon talisman sect just because you found a random kid to pretend to be an 8-note symbol master. The legacy talisman of the weapon talisman sect? After hearing Xie words, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly as he looked at Hai Yinan in surprise. Seeing Mo Qingyun's expression, Hai Yinan's expression could not help but change. His expression became somewhat uncertain, as if he was having an intense struggle in his heart. After a moment of silence, Hai Yinan clenched his teeth and made a difficult decision. He said, Senior, since you know, I won't hide it from you. Actually, our Sea Talisman sect is a branch of the ancient sect, the Weapon Talisman sect. You're actually a branch of the Weapon Talisman sect. Hearing Hai Yinan's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed again. His gaze towards Hai Yinan and the others became much friendlier. When Mo Qingyun was in the Thatch Talisman sect, Elder Tan took good care of him. He had promised Elder Tan that he would rebuild the Weapon Talisman sect for Elder Tan. Now that he had encountered a branch of the Weapon Talisman sect, Mo Qingyun was naturally overjoyed and decided to help them. That's right. Senior, are you also? Seeing Mo Qingyun's expression, Hai Yinan's expression immediately changed. He guessed that Mo Qingyun might have some connections with the Weapon Talisman sect. After this thought came to his mind, Hai Yinan was pleasantly surprised and became extremely excited. If that was really the case, then it would be great. We'll talk about this later. Let me solve this problem for you first. Before Hai Yinan could finish speaking, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and interrupted him. He looked coldly at Xie. After sizing up Xie, Mo Qingyun did not waste time talking nonsense with him and directly slapped at him. Suddenly, the sky above the Sea Talisman sect changed color. Waves of terrifying origin energy madly gathered and formed a huge flaming palm. Upon seeing this scene, Xie expression immediately twitched. He looked at Mo Qingyun and exclaimed, You're really a talisman, Supremacy? Mo Qingyun did not answer Xie question. Instead, he slapped at him without hesitation. Bang! A loud sound rang out. Following that, a sandstorm rose from the ground and swallowed Xie and the others. After a while, when the sandstorm dissipated, a large pit appeared on the ground. In the large pit, there were black dried corpses. These were the corpses of Xie and the others. With one move, a 7-seal Great Talisman Master and several 6-seal Great Talisman Masters had all died. Hai Yinan and the others trembled when they saw this scene. They looked at Mo Qingyun with even more respect. He was too strong. Was this the strength of an 8th seal talisman Supremacy? The problem has been solved. Let's go in first. After killing Xie and the others, Mo Qingyun nodded at Hai Yinan and said in a deep voice, Tell me about the Sea Talisman sect. Yes, Senior. Chapter 1122. After listening to Hai Yinan's explanation, Mo Qingyun learned about the origin of the Sea Talisman sect. It turned out that the ancestor of the Sea Talisman sect was once the branch master of the divine Sea Calming Pearl in the Weapon Talisman sect. In that case, there was no need to doubt the identity of Hai Yinan and the others as disciples of the Weapon Talisman sect. Then, Mo Qingyun made a hand seal and took out an object in the shape of a map. He looked at Hai Yinan and asked, Sect Leader Hai, do you know what this is? This is the immemorial Weapon Talisman Scroll. Hai Yinan was shocked when he saw the map in Mo Qingyun's hand. He could not believe what he was seeing. He had heard from the ancestor that after the Weapon Talisman sect was destroyed by the 9 great immortal gates, the Weapon Talisman sect leader's inheritance was lost. He did not expect the Weapon Talisman sect leader's inheritance to be in the hands of this young man. Did that mean, was this young man the current Weapon Talisman sect leader? Disciple Hai Yinan greets the sect leader. Hai Yinan did not dare to hesitate when he saw the immemorial Weapon Talisman scroll in Mo Qingyun's hand. He quickly knelt down and bowed to Mo Qingyun. While Hai Yinan was kneeling before Mo Qingyun, he didn't forget to tell the people behind him, "Elders, the new sect master of our Weapon Talisman sect is here. Why aren't you coming over to greet him?" "Greetings, sect leader." After hearing Hai Yinan's words, the surrounding elders did not dare to hesitate and quickly knelt down to Mo Qingyun. Seeing their actions, Mo Qingyun nodded with a faint smile and raised his hand. "No need to be so polite. Everyone, please rise." "Thank you, sect leader." Seeing Mo Qingyun signal them to rise, Hai Yinan and the others thanked him and stood up one after another, sitting down on the chairs at the side. Seeing Hai Yinan and the others sit down, Mo Qingyun's expression became serious, and he asked, "Everyone, I may be rebuilding the Weapon Talisman sect soon. Are you willing to rebuild the Weapon Talisman sect with me?" "Rebuild the Weapon Talisman sect?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Hai Yinan and the others' expressions changed, revealing a strong sense of surprise. They had never expected Mo Qingyun to be planning to rebuild the Weapon Talisman sect. Was he planning to confront the 9 great immortal gates? With this thought in mind, Hai Yinan's expression turned solemn as he advised Mo Qingyun, "Sect Master, although you possess the strength of an 8th seal symbol sovereign, the 9 great immortal gates have a deep foundation. With our current strength, I'm afraid it's not appropriate to challenge them, right? If you want to achieve great things, you naturally have to take some risks." Mo Qingyun didn't deny Hai Yinan's concerns. He looked at Hai Yinan with a serious expression and said, "I've already told you my thoughts. As for how to make the decision, it's up to you. If you don't want to, I won't force you." Hai Yinan and the others fell silent when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They were hesitating whether to agree to Mo Qingyun's request. "Sect Master, we've been hiding for so long. Are we going to continue hiding?" "That's right. It's rare for the Sect Master to have such great ambitions. We should support the Sect Master with all our strength." "Sect Master, with our meager strength, it's not essential to rebuild the Weapon Talisman sect. The Sect Master is asking for our opinion now. He's actually helping the Sea Talisman sect." After a brief silence, the elders of the Sea Talisman sect began to persuade Hai Yinan to rebuild the Weapon Talisman sect with Mo Qingyun. In fact, the elders of the Sea Talisman sect were right. Mo Qingyun's current actions did have the intention of helping the Sea Talisman sect. Otherwise, with Mo Qingyun's current strength, why would he need the help of a 6 seal sect? Of course, whether or not Hai Yinan could seize this opportunity depended on his own choice. Mo Qingyun would not force him to do so. Hai Yinan made a decision when he heard the elder's persuasion. With a determined expression, he said, "If that's the case, I'll be at your disposal." Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction when he saw Hai Yinan and the others' reaction. He smiled faintly at them and said, "If that's the case, go pack up. Follow me to the Mao Talisman sect later." "Yes." Hai Yinan and the others did not hesitate when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They immediately went to instruct the inner disciples to pack up and get ready to depart. A short while later, in front of the mountain gate of the Sea Talisman sect, the disciples and elders of the Sea Talisman sect were all standing there in an orderly manner, waiting for Mo Qingyun's orders. "Since everyone is ready, let's depart." Mo Qingyun nodded at the people from the Sea Talisman sect who were ready to depart. He then led everyone to the Mao Talisman sect. As the disciples of the Sea Talisman sect were not strong, Mo Qingyun and the others did not travel very quickly. In addition, Mo Qingyun and the others also encountered many talisman bandits who blocked their way and robbed them of their belongings. However, as Mo Qingyun and the other 3 were accompanying them, the talisman bandits naturally did not succeed in their robbery. All of them were killed by Mo Qingyun's sword. The distance between the Sea Talisman sect and the Mao Talisman sect was not very far. After Mo Qingyun and the others crossed the sea, they continued to travel for another half a month. When they saw Mo Qingyun arrive at the Mao Talisman sect, regardless of whether it was Sect Master Fong Peng, Grand Elder Fong Huai, or Elder Tan, they were all pleasantly surprised and excited. They all knew that Mo Qingyun had a 10-year agreement with Yao Honghu. 10 years later, Mo Qingyun would head to the Sky Demon Talisman sect. However, ever since Mo Qingyun left the Immortal Road, they had no news of Mo Qingyun. This made them very worried about Mo Qingyun. Now that they saw Mo Qingyun return safe and sound, the worry in their hearts was finally put down, and a feeling of pleasant surprise rose in their hearts. After 10 years, Fong Peng and the others had made great progress in their cultivation. All of them had broken through to the 7th Seal Talisman Master Realm. Congratulations, Sect Master, Grand Elder Master. Your cultivation has all broken through to the 7th Seal Talisman Master Realm. After exchanging pleasantries with Fong Peng and the others, Mo Qingyun sensed their cultivation and cupped his hands to congratulate them with a faint smile. Our little bit of strength is nothing in front of you. When they heard Mo Qingyun's congratulatory words, Fong Peng and the others smiled awkwardly and replied to Mo Qingyun awkwardly. Then they asked curiously, Qingyun, your cultivation has probably broken through to the 7th Seal Talisman Master Realm, right? You can say that. Mo Qingyun did not hide the truth from Fong Peng and the others and replied with a faint smile. However, the speaker did not mean it, but the listener took it seriously. 8th Seal Talisman Master Realm? When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Fong Peng and the others were shocked. They could not believe their ears. How long had it been? In less than 10 years, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had broken through to the 8th Seal Talisman Master Realm. This speed was too fast. It should be known that Mo Qingyun's cultivation base was different from theirs. He did not stay at the peak of the 6th Seal Talisman Master Realm for a long time. As expected of a genius disciple of our Mao Talisman sect, he really can't be underestimated. Chapter 1123. All right, let's enter the sect first. After exchanging some pleasantries with Mo Qingyun, Fong Peng waved his hand at everyone, indicating for them to enter the sect first. When everyone entered the sect, Mo Qingyun looked at Fong Huai and instructed, Supreme Elder, they are the descendants of the ancient sect, the Artifact Seal sect. The Artifact Seal sect has a deep relationship with me. Please help me settle them down. Descendants of the Artifact Seal sect? Elder Tan was shocked when he heard this. He looked at Hai Yinan and the others with a complicated expression. All right, Fong Huai nodded when he heard Mo Qingyun's instructions. He then gestured to Hai Yinan and the others and said, Everyone, please follow me. I will arrange your accommodations. Thank you. Hai Yinan cupped his hands at Fong Huai with a humble expression when he saw Fong Huai's actions. When Mo Qingyun saw that Fong Huai was going to settle Hai Yinan and the others, he did not stay any longer and walked into the Mao Fu sect with Fong Peng and the others. Sect Master, how has the Mao Fu sect been in recent years? Did the 4 unique sects invade the Mao Fu sect again? On the way to the Mao Fu sect, Mo Qingyun asked about the Mao Fu sect's recent situation with a concerned expression. Although the Mao Fu sect has encountered some troubles in recent years, overall, everything has been smooth sailing. Fong Peng sighed as he recalled the recent situation of the Mao Talisman sect. His expression turned grave as he said, However, Senior Liu and Senior Ho suffered serious injuries when they defeated the people from the 4 great unique sects. If the people from the 4 great unique sects come again, the Mao Talisman sect situation won't be optimistic. Senior Liu? Senior Ho? Hearing Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun's expression couldn't help but change. He immediately guessed the identity of the 2 people Fong Peng was talking about. He exclaimed, Sect Master, Could the Senior Lu and Senior Ho you mentioned be my big brother Lu Feng and Senior brother Ho Shihua? That's right, it's Senior Lu Feng and Senior Ho Shihua. When Fong Peng saw that Mo Qingyun had guessed their identities, he hurriedly nodded and admitted it. He had a grateful expression on his face as he said, "Ever since you left the immortal path, Senior Lu and Senior Ho were worried that the four ultimate sects would seek revenge, so they stayed in the Mao Talisman sect and never left. If it weren't for Senior Lu and Senior Ho overseeing the Mao Talisman sect, I'm afraid the Mao Talisman sect would have already become history." After hearing Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun's gratitude toward them grew even stronger. He and Lu Feng had only known each other for a short period of time. The reason why they were able to become brothers was due to their similar personalities. Mo Qingyun didn't expect that after he left the immortal path, Lu Feng and Lu Li would guard the Mao Talisman sect for him and never leave for 10 years. This feeling was immeasurable. Speaking of which, it's all thanks to Senior Ho and Senior Lu that we were able to break through to the seventh seal stage, Fong Peng said gratefully when he mentioned Lu Feng and Ho Shihua. Oh, I see. After hearing Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun finally understood why Fong Peng and the others were able to break through to the immortal path. Soon after, Mo Qingyun revealed a puzzled expression and said with displeasure, "By the way, when I left the immortal path, sect leader Yao and elder Zhu Wuying promised me that they would protect the Mao Talisman sect for me. Why didn't they appear when the Mao Talisman sect was being bullied by the four ultimate sects?" Sigh. It's a long story. Fong Peng sighed helplessly when he heard Mo Qingyun asking about the Sky Demon Talisman sect and the Blade Talisman sect. He said, "Not long after you left, Hejilan and Mo Qing entered their respective sections. After Hejilan entered the Dao Talisman sect, the young sect leader of the Dao Talisman sect, Lil Yangchun, coveted her beauty and wanted to do something to her. When Mo Qing found out about this, he wanted to stand up for Jilan. However, Lil Yangchun was extremely overbearing and ordered someone to kill Mo Qing. Senior brother, Mo Qing, is dead?" After hearing Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun was shocked and disbelief was written all over his face. Mo Qing was dead. Before he returned to the immortal path, he had been thinking about removing the slave seals in Mo Qing and Zhao Wuying's minds. He did not expect to hear the news of Mo Qing's death after he returned to the immortal path. Dao Talisman sect, Mo Qingyun, will definitely destroy your entire sect. After recovering from his shock and anger, Mo Qingyun clenched his fists and exuded a terrifying killing intent. Bang! 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 Under the impact of this killing intent, the surrounding vegetation was instantly blasted apart, turning into flying debris and dust. Qingyun, don't be impulsive. Fong Peng's expression changed drastically when he saw Mo Qingyun's reaction. He hurriedly advised Mo Qingyun, "The Dao Talisman sect is one of the 10 great immortal sects in the immortal path. Its foundation is deeply rooted and its strength cannot be underestimated. You must not act rashly. With your amazing cultivation talent, as long as you can remain calm, you will definitely be able to avenge Mo Qing in the future. However, you must not lose your life because of impulsiveness. Sect leader, don't worry. I know what I'm doing." After hearing Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He comforted Fong Peng and said, "What happened after that? Did Li Liangchun violate senior sister Jilan?" No, Jilan was not violated by Li Liangchun. Not long after Li Liangchun killed Mo Qing, he was killed by someone. Fong Peng shook his head solemnly when he heard Mo Qingyun asking about Hejilan. He said, "The Invincible Blade knew about your relationship with Mo Qing. Not long after he learned that Mo Qing was killed by Li Liangchun, he secretly left the Sky Demon Talisman sect and decided to avenge Mo Qing. Later on, Li Liangchun was killed by the Invincible Blade when he went out. That's an easy death for him." After learning that Li Liangchun was killed by the Invincible Blade, Mo Qingyun's expression was still extremely gloomy. Sigh. It's not over yet. At this moment, Fong Peng sighed and revealed a helpless expression. He continued, after the news of the invincible blade killing Li Liangchen spread, it instantly caused a huge uproar in the immortal path. The sect leader of the Dao Talisman sect, Li Lulin, learned that his son Li Liangchen was killed by the invincible blade. He immediately went crazy and madly sought revenge on the Dao Talisman sect. Then, Fong Peng told Mo Qingyun the whole story without missing a word. After listening to Fong Peng's story, Mo Qingyun had a clear understanding of the whole story. Under the crazy revenge of the Dao Talisman sect, the Dao Talisman sect's vitality was greatly damaged. If not for the Sky Demon Talisman sect's protection, the orthodoxy of the Dao Talisman sect might have been directly uprooted. However, after the Sky Demon Talisman sect had protected the Dao Talisman sect, it caused the 9 Great Immortal Gates to be unhappy and was ostracized and oppressed by the 9 Great Immortal Gates. Out of desperation, the Sky Demon Talisman sect could only seal their sect and no longer interfere with the affairs of the outside world. Chapter 1124. After the Sky Demon Talisman sect sealed their sect, the 4 unique sects no longer had any scruples and began to take revenge on the Mao Talisman sect. In the beginning, the 4 unique sects didn't make too big of a move. They only made small disturbances against the Mao Talisman sect. Their actions seemed to be a test to see if the Sky Demon Talisman sect had truly sealed their sect. Later on, after a series of attacks, the Sky Demon Talisman sect did not appear. The 4 unique sects were certain that the Sky Demon Talisman sect had truly sealed their sect and no longer interfered with the matters of the outside world. After this discovery, the 4 unique sects became bolder and no longer had the slightest apprehension or fear. Subsequently, the 4 unique sects began to take revenge on the Mao Talisman sect without any scruples. Each time, their revenge became more and more ruthless. However, what they didn't expect was that they would always underestimate the Mao Talisman sect's strength and allow the Mao Talisman sect to avert danger time and time again. The last time the 4 unique sects attacked again, they sent a total of 4 8-seal symbol venerables, but they still returned empty-handed. This outcome was beyond the 4 unique sects' expectations. They didn't expect the Mao Talisman sect to have an 8-seal symbol venerables. However, Fong Peng and the others knew that the Mao Talisman sect will be doomed the next time the 4 unique sects attacked. Sect Master, don't worry. From today onwards, no one will be able to bully the Mao Talisman sect. Mo Qingyun comforted Fong Peng when he saw the despair on his face. His face gradually turned cold as he said, "Since I've returned, it's time to settle the matter between me and the 4 unique sects." As Mo Qingyun spoke, his body emitted a terrifying killing intent once again. "Qingyun, although you possess the strength of a symbol venerate, you must be extremely careful when dealing with the 4 unique sects." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fong Peng revealed a nervous expression again. He hurriedly reminded Mo Qingyun, although there are no 9-seal symbol venerables in the 4 unique sects, there are still many old monsters. Those old fellows have lived for countless years, and their strength is comparable to a 9-seal symbol venerables. You mustn't be careless. Sect Master, don't worry. It's just a few 8-seal symbol sects. There's nothing to worry about. Mo Qingyun smiled confidently in response to Fong Peng's reminder. The 4 great sects were nothing in his eyes. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and Mo Qingyun were talking, Fong Huaid, who had gone to settle down Hui Hai Yinnan's residence, walked over with a serious expression. He said in a deep voice, "Sect Master, something bad has happened. The people from the 4 unique sects are here again." "What? Why are they again so soon?" Fong Peng's expression immediately twitched when he heard that the people from the 4 supreme sects had arrived. His expression was filled with intense panic. Sect Fong's sect 9 sect was pinned, and unique sect now, the only people who could stop the 4 ultimate sects were them and Mo Qingyun. Although Mo Qingyun possessed the strength of an 8th seal talisman venerable, it was difficult for 2 fists to block 4 hands. With Mo Qingyun's strength alone, how could he withstand the powerful attacks of the four unique sects? Sectmaster, let's go out and take a look. While Fong Peng was worried, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at him and walked toward the Mao Fu sect's mountain gate. Fong Peng hesitated for a moment when he saw Mo Qingyun's actions. Then he followed Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun soon saw the people from the four unique sects. He was familiar with a few of them. They were Elder Qiu Wan of the Shadow Talisman sect and Elder Zhu Meng of the Pill Talisman sect. Both of them were peak 8 seal symbol sects. However, in Mo Qingyun's eyes, this little bit of strength was nothing to worry about. Mo Qingyun? When Mo Qingyun saw Qiu Wan and Elder Zhu, they also saw Mo Qingyun in front of Fong Peng and the others. Their expressions were full of shock. They had not expected that they would have such an unexpected gain from exterminating the Mao Fu sect today. Mo Qingyun was listed as the third target to be killed in the 9 Great Immortal Gates. Anyone who could kill Mo Qingyun would be rewarded handsomely. What a surprise. I didn't expect to meet you here. After a short moment of surprise, Qiu Wan and Mo Qingyun sneered. After saying some gloomy words, Qiu Wan said, Mo Qingyun, the last time in Myriad World Mountain, Yao Honghu came forward to protect you, allowing you to escape with your life. This time, no one can protect you. Today, you will definitely die. Mo Qingyun, I'm afraid you still don't know. The Sky Demon Talisman sect can't even protect themselves now. They can only rely on Feng's sect to escape punishment from the 9 Great Immortal Gates. After Qiu Wan finished speaking, Zhu Meng added with a sinister smile, Therefore, even if we kill you now, the Sky Demon Talisman sect can't do anything to us. On the contrary, we will be rewarded by the 9 Great Immortal Gates. Hee. I am also surprised that the two of you would appear here. This saves me some trouble. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly in response to Qiu Wan and Zhu Meng's words. He then said, Also, are the two of you so sure that I need someone to protect me? Do you think you can kill me with just a few of you? Can't kill you? After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Qiu Wan and the others were stunned at first. Then they sneered. Mo Qingyun, I didn't expect you to be so arrogant after 10 years. We admit that your cultivation talent is amazing. However, how much can your strength increase in 10 years? Don't waste your breath on this brat. Let's get rid of him as soon as possible so that he won't play any tricks. That's right. Let's attack. Today, we will wash the Thatch Talisman sect with blood. After Qiu Wan and the others were pleased with themselves, they no longer hesitated and attacked Mo Qingyun together. Mo Qingyun, since you were so arrogant, let me see how much you have improved. Qiu Wan's figure moved and attacked Mo Qingyun. He directly threw out a palm strike at Mo Qingyun. Under Qiu Wan's palm strike, 8 imposing spiritual seals instantly formed above Mo Qingyun and attacked Mo Qingyun's head. My improvement is not something you can handle. Facing Qiu Wan's attack, Mo Qingyun replied disdainfully and casually threw out a palm strike at Qiu Wan and the others. Suddenly, a terrifying flame energy burst out from Mo Qingyun's body. As soon as the flame energy appeared, it was like a violent storm and instantly enveloped Qiu Wan and the others. Under the burning of the flame energy, Qiu Wan and the others immediately screamed and looked terrified. The power of the law. This is the power of the law. Mo Qingyun actually has the power of the law. Has he become a 9 seals expert? Impossible. How can he improve so quickly? For a moment, Qiu Wan and the others all had crazy expressions on their faces as they uttered words of disbelief. You can answer this question when you go to hell. Mo Qingyun did not answer Qiu Wan and the others' confusion and fear. His expression was cold as he killed them. Chapter 1125. A moment later, when the flames completely dissipated, Qiu Wan and the rest were nowhere to be seen. If there were no accidents, Qiu Wan and the others had all been burned to ashes in the flames just now. Now, The area in front of Mo, Qingyun, and the rest had become a barren land with traces of the flames left on the ground. Fong Peng and the rest were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They could not believe that all of this was real. They were all dead. The people of the 4 unique sects were all dead. Mo Qingyun had only casually waved his hand, and 8 symbol venerables and dozens of 7 seal realm experts had been killed in the blink of an eye. What kind of ability was this? At this moment, Fong Peng and the rest felt that their brains were not enough. They could not believe that this was done by Mo Qingyun. Previously, Mo Qingyun had said that he had the strength of an 8 seal symbol venerable. This had already frightened Fong Peng and the rest. However, Mo Qingyun's current move was obviously not something that an 8 seal symbol venerable could do. Could it be that, as Chowan had said, Mo Qingyun's true strength had reached the 9 seal symbol overlord level? 9 seal. It had been less than 10 years since Mo Qingyun had broken through to the 6 seal realm, and now he had broken through to the 9 seal realm. Wasn't this cultivation speed a little too terrifying? Qingyun, have you reached the 9 seal realm? Fong Peng suppressed the shock in his heart and asked Mo Qingyun nervously. He still could not believe that Mo Qingyun had the strength of a 9 seal symbol. You can say that. Mo Qingyun did not hide from Fong Peng's question and replied with a faint smile. Yes. Fong Peng and the rest immediately gasped when they heard Mo Qingyun's reply. They were greatly shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. Although they had already guessed this, they still found it hard to believe when they heard Mo Qingyun say it. 9 seal. Mo Qingyun's true strength had actually reached the level of 9 seals. At this moment, Fong Peng and the rest finally understood why Mo Qingyun had said that the 4 ultimate sects were nothing to worry about. Although Mo Qingyun, who possessed the strength of a 9 seal talisman overlord, could not be said to have swept through the 4 ultimate sects, it was true that he no longer feared them. Moreover, with Mo Qingyun's terrifying cultivation talent, if he was given another 5 or 10 years, it would be as easy as flipping his hand for him to annihilate the 4 ultimate sections. Sect Master, let's head back first. After killing Xiao Wan and the others from the 4 unique sects, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer. He turned around and walked towards the Mao Fu sect. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fong Peng and the others didn't hesitate and followed Mo Qingyun back to the Mao Fu sect. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Mao Fu sect's meeting hall. Sect Master, apart from fulfilling my agreement with Sect Master Yao, I have another matter to attend to on the immortal path. After arriving at the meeting hall and seeing that everyone had taken a seat, Mo Qingyun went straight to the point. Actually, I obtained the inheritance of the ancient era's weapon talisman sect and became the current sect master of the weapon talisman sect. Thus, I plan to use the Mao Fu sect as the foundation to rebuild the weapon talisman sect. Sect Master, I wonder if you're willing to lend me a hand? The weapon talisman sect? Fong Peng and the others were shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. They were once again greatly shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. In the ancient era, the weapon talisman sect was a sect that was even more powerful than the 10 great immortal sects. Who would have thought that Mo Qingyun had actually obtained its inheritance? No wonder Qingyun's cultivation talent is so astonishing. It turns out that he obtained the inheritance of the weapon talisman sect. Fong Peng and the others were enlightened when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They seemed to have found a reasonable explanation for Mo Qingyun's fast cultivation talent. However, Elder Tan, who was sitting at the side, didn't think so. He was the one who had given Mo Qingyun the immemorial weapon talisman manual. Naturally, he knew the use of the immemorial weapon talisman manual. Therefore, he knew very well that Mo Qingyun's cultivation speed had nothing to do with the weapon talisman sect's inheritance. Of course, Elder Tan didn't say anything when he saw that Mo Qingyun didn't explain. After a short moment of shock, Fong Peng made a decision in his heart. He said in a deep voice, Qingyun, if you hadn't acted earlier and killed the people from the 4 unique sects, our Mao Fu sect wouldn't exist today. Since you've spoken, we will naturally support you with all our might. Thank you, Sect Master. Hearing Fong Peng's words, Mo Qingyun immediately smiled and thanked Fong Peng. After thanking Fong Peng, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious. He turned to Elder Tan and said, Master, you're the one who gave me the immemorial weapon talisman manual. Now, I'm returning it to you. When the weapon talisman sect is rebuilt, you'll be the sect master of the weapon talisman sect. Qingyun, you can't do that. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Elder Tan's expression changed immediately. He said in a serious tone, I know very well how capable I am. You're the most suitable person to be the sect master of the weapon talisman sect. Master, there's something you don't know. Seeing Elder Tan's actions, Mo Qingyun smiled and shook his head. He said, after I'm done with the weapon talisman sect, I'll be heading to the wild continent. Therefore, I can't stay in the weapon talisman sect forever. When the time comes, I'll have to hand over the sect master's position to someone else. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone looked relieved. They understood the intention of Mo Qingyun's actions. At the same time, everyone's expressions were filled with reluctance. They didn't expect Mo Qingyun to leave so soon after they reunited with Mo Qingyun. If that's the case, I won't refuse anymore. Understanding Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Elder Tan didn't refuse anymore. He nodded and agreed to Mo Qingyun's request. He could safely hand over something as important as the immemorial weapon talisman manual to Mo Qingyun. However, it didn't mean that he could hand it over to someone else. Master, if that's the case, you don't have to hide your cultivation anymore. With Mo Qingyun's current soul cultivation, it was naturally useless for Elder Tan to hide his cultivation in front of him. When Mo Qingyun returned to the Thatch Talisman sect, he found out Elder Tan's true cultivation the moment he spoke to him. Elder Tan's true cultivation had already reached the limit of the 8th Seal Talisman Supremacy. He was only one step away from the 9th Seal Talisman Supremacy. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Elder Tan no longer concealed his cultivation and revealed his true cultivation. Immediately, a shocking aura was emitted from Elder Tan's body. 8th Seal Talisman Supremacy. Sensing the aura on Elder Tan's body, everyone's expression changed, revealing a shocked expression. They really didn't expect that the crazy and inconspicuous Elder Tan was actually an 8th Seal Talisman Supremacy expert. No wonder Elder Tan could tell that Qingyun was extraordinary. It turns out that Elder Tan is a reclusive expert. After knowing Elder Tan's cultivation, Fong Peng and the others were in awe. They had no objections to Elder Tan being the sect master of the weapon talisman sect. Chapter 1126. Mo Qingyun and the others continued to discuss other matters after deciding on the sect leader of the Weapon Seal sect. While they were discussing, Hai Yinan and the others from the Sea Talisman sect were also summoned by Mo Qingyun. After discussing with them, Mo Qingyun realized that the foundations of the Sea Talisman sect and the Mao Talisman sect were too shallow. The foundations of the Sea Talisman sect and the Mao Talisman sect are too shallow. It seems like I have to think of a way to accumulate some wealth before the Weapon Seal sect is established. After learning about the situation of the Sea Talisman sect and the Mao Talisman sect, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and began to think about how to accumulate wealth for the Weapon Seal sect. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up as he came up with a solution. He smiled faintly and said, the 4 unique sects have been around for tens of thousands of years. I'm sure their foundations are not shallow. If we can take their treasures, the Weapon Seal sect won't have to worry about our foundations being shallow. After thinking about it, Mo Qingyun decided to pay a visit to the 4 unique sects. Firstly, he wanted to resolve the grudge between the 2 sections. Secondly, he wanted to plunder the treasures of the 4 unique sects. With a plan in mind, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate. He waved his hand and dismissed everyone. After instructing everyone to leave, Mo Qingyun and Fong Peng walked out of the conference hall together. He said in a deep voice, Sect leader, Where are Brother Lu and Senior Brother Ho? Take me to meet them. All right, I'll bring you there now. After hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Fang Peng did not dare to delay and immediately brought Mo Qingyun to see Lu Feng and Ho Shihua. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived at the place where Lu Feng and Ho Shihua were cultivating in seclusion under Fang Peng's lead. Mo Qingyun's expression couldn't help but change when he arrived at the place where Lu Feng and Ho Ho were in seclusion. His expression turned grave. What a chaotic aura. It looks like Big Brother Lu and Senior Brother Ho's injuries are indeed very serious. After thinking about it, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately pushed open the door and entered. Who is it? When Mo Qingyun entered the room, Lu Feng's and Ho Shihua's expressions turned cold as they spoke coldly. However, when they saw that it was Mo Qingyun, they were pleasantly surprised. Second brother, you're here. Junior brother, you're back. Looking at the approaching Mo Qingyun, Mr. Lu revealed an excited expression and wanted to get up to greet Mo Qingyun. Big brother, senior brother, you don't have to be so polite. Seeing Lu Feng and Ho Shihua's actions, Mo Qingyun immediately moved to their side and said, "Sit down first. I'll stabilize your injuries." Mo Qingyun didn't wait for Lu Feng and the young man's reply. He released a wisp of soul force to heal their injuries. Second brother, your cultivation. Eighth seal, talisman venerable. Junior martial brother, you. Sensing the fluctuation of soul force released by Mo Qingyun, Lu Feng and the young man's faces were filled with shock. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's soul force cultivation. We'll talk about this later. Let me heal your injuries first. Mo Qingyun did not explain the shock on Lu Feng and the young man's faces. Instead, he sent his soul force into Lu Feng and the young man's sea of consciousness and began to repair the damaged seals and the broken golden lotus of creation. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Lu Feng and the young man's sea of consciousness began to circulate their soul force to repair the damaged seals and the golden lotus of creation. With Mo Qingyun's help, the healing speed of Lu Feng and the young man's sea of consciousness was greatly improved. Soon, Lu Feng's seal began to repair bit by bit, and the cracks on it began to heal. While Lu Feng's seal was healing, the damaged parts of Ho Shihua's golden lotus of creation were also being repaired and perfected. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was healing Ho Shihua and the young man's injuries, Fang Peng did not dare to hesitate. He hurriedly left the room and concentrated on guarding outside the room. Several hours later, with Mo Qingyun's help, Lu Feng and Ho Shihua's injuries were stabilized. The aura in their bodies also stabilized. Big brother, senior brother, thank you for guarding the Mao Fu sect for me. After healing Ho Shihua and the young man's injuries, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and thanked Ho Shihua and the young man's sea of consciousness. Second brother, what are you saying? You don't have to treat me like an outsider. Junior brother, I didn't expect you to grow to this extent in just 10 years. Looking at Mo Qingyun, who had become more mature, Lu Feng and Ho Shihua sighed with emotion. They began to chat with Mo Qingyun. Second brother, I'm afraid your cultivation has already surpassed the 8 seals, right? After chatting with Mo Qingyun for a while, Lu Feng's face was filled with emotion as he asked Mo Qingyun, "You can say that I have reached the 9 seals realm." In response to Lu Feng's question, Mo Qingyun did not hide anything and nodded to indicate that he had reached the 9 seals realm. Although he was not sure what realm he was in, he was certain that his soul cultivation had already surpassed the manifestation realm. When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Lu Feng and Ho Shihua's expressions changed. Their eyes were filled with intense shock. Although they had already guessed Mo Qingyun's cultivation when Mo Qingyun healed their injuries, they were still shocked when they heard Mo Qingyun admit himself. One had to know that when they first met Mo Qingyun was only at the 5 seals realm. Only 10 years had passed since then, but Mo Qingyun's cultivation had already reached the 9 seals realm. This speed was simply too fast. Big brother, senior brother, your injuries have just stabilized. I won't disturb you any longer." After chatting with Lu Feng and Ho Shihua for a while, Mo Qingyun did not linger any longer and left their room. After leaving their room, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He thought to himself, "Big brother and senior brother's injuries are not light. They have damaged the foundation of their sea of consciousness. If they don't treat their injuries as soon as possible, it might affect their future cultivation. I have to refine a cauldron of profound, underworld, soul-nourishing pills for them immediately. However, I've already used up all the soul-refining materials I have on me. I have to gather them as soon as possible." When he thought of the materials he had on him, Mo Qingyun could not help but feel a headache coming on. He wondered where he could get the materials. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up. He was pleasantly surprised as he said, "That's right. I was under the 4 unique sects just now. Given the 4 unique sects' deep foundation, they should have a lot of materials. Perhaps I can gather the materials for a cauldron of profound, underworld soul-nourishing pills." When this thought appeared in his mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He summoned He Xian and the others from the Soul Palace. After summoning He Xian, Iron Wing, and Savage Beast, Mo Qingyun took out a map and said to them, "Senior He Xian, Iron Wing, and Savage Beast, this is the map of the Immortal Path. Each of you will make a copy. After that, you will head to the Sword Talisman Sect, Shadow Talisman Sect, and Tyrant Talisman Sect respectively. Destroy these 3 sects and bring back their treasures." All right. After hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, He Xian and the others did not ask any more questions. They nodded and began to make copies of the map. Chapter 11:27. After He Xian and the other 2 left, Mo Qingyun summoned Mo Zai and Mo to assist him. Mo Zai, Mo, I will be leaving the Mao Talisman Sect for some time. Guard the Mao Talisman Sect for me. If anyone dares to invade the Mao Talisman Sect, kill them on my behalf." After summoning Mo Zai and Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately gave them orders. Mo Zai had already broken through to the Sovereign Realm, and Mo had reached the peak of the Supreme Being Realm. As long as a late-stage Sovereign Realm expert came, the 2 of them would be able to defend themselves. Yes, this Sovereign. After receiving Mo Qingyun's instructions, Mo Zai and Mo hurriedly responded. "Okay." Mo Qingyun nodded his head in satisfaction when he saw the 2's actions. To be safe, he took out the Yin Soul Puppet and Yang Soul Puppet and said, "These are the Yin Soul Puppet and Yang Soul Puppet. They can unleash the strength of a late-stage sovereign. If the 2 of you encounter someone you can't defeat, control them to fight." Mo Qingyun's mind was connected to his incarnation. Therefore, Mo Zai and Mo didn't need to familiarize themselves with the puppets to fight. Understood, this Sovereign. After hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Mo Zai and Mo nodded their heads again and put away their puppets. After that, Mo Qingyun instructed the 2 of them again before leaving the Mao Talisman Sect in a flash. After Mo Qingyun left the Mao Talisman Sect, Mo Zai and Mo's figures moved and concealed themselves in the sect. According to Mo Qingyun's instructions, if the Mao Talisman Sect wasn't in danger, they only needed to silently hide. After Mo Qingyun left the Mao Talisman Sect, he headed straight for the Pill Talisman Sect. He was prepared to destroy the Pill Talisman Sect. The Pill Talisman Sect was the furthest away from the Mao Talisman Sect. Mo Qingyun was the fastest, so he chose to head there alone. Apart from that, there was another reason why Mo Qingyun headed to the Pill Talisman Sect. The Pill Talisman Sect had the most medicinal ingredients. Teleportation door. In order to increase his speed, Mo Qingyun directly used the teleportation gate, which increased his speed by several times. One day later, Mo Qingyun arrived at the Pill symbol door. Arriving outside the Pill seal gate, Mo Qingyun was not in a hurry to enter the Pill seal gate. Instead, he regulated his breathing and recovered. Several hours later, Mo Qingyun's condition had recovered to its peak, and he stopped cultivating. After that, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and directly walked into the Pill Token School. Arriving at the Pill Seal School, Mo Qingyun did not say much nonsense and directly attacked the Pill Seal School's people. The Law of Death. In order to increase his killing efficiency and speed, Mo Qingyun released his perfected Law of Death, which enveloped the entire Pill Talisman School. Under the corrosion of the perfected Law of Death, the negative effects of weakness, aging, and physical corrosion immediately appeared on the disciples of the Pill Seal School. Then, the disciples of the Pill Talisman School fell down one by one, lying on the ground as they were devoured by death. In just a short while, close to half of the disciples of the Pill Seal School died, little by little. As for the remaining disciples, even if they did not die directly, they were sickly and half-dead. Although the stronger elders of the Pill Talisman School were in a much better condition than the disciples, they were also struggling on the verge of death. Due to the sudden death of a large number of disciples, the people at the helm of the Pill Palace School quickly discovered Mo Qingyun's existence. In a short while, dozens of 8th Seal symbol venerables surrounded Mo Qingyun. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that there was actually a 9th Seal symbol overlord among these people. Mo Qingyun, it's actually you. After these people surrounded Mo Qingyun, an elder with red eyebrows among them looked at Mo Qingyun in shock. This elder was called Jin Peng, and he was a supreme elder of the Pill Seal School. He had seen Mo Qingyun participate in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal meeting. Mo Qingyun? Upon hearing Jin Peng's surprised words, the other elders of the Pill Seal School asked curiously, "Supreme Elder Jin Peng, do you know this kid?" Upon hearing the crowd's question, Jin Peng nodded his head with a grave expression and said, "This kid is the one who massacred our 4 ultimate sects during the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering. It's actually that kid. Isn't he only at the 6th Seal? How is this possible? It's only been 10 years. How can he be an 8th Seal symbol venerate? So what if he's an 8th Seal symbol venerate? Can't we deal with him with so many of us? That's right. We'll make sure he doesn't return today." After learning about Mo Qingyun's identity, the faces of the Pill Seal School experts darkened and intense killing intent radiated from their bodies. At this moment, the 9th Seal symbol overlord of the Pill Seal School said in a deep voice, "This kid has already comprehended the power of laws. His strength is not to be underestimated. You must not be careless. I'll be the main attacker later, and you all will support me from the side." Yes, Patriarch. Upon hearing the 9th Seal symbol overlord's words, the 8th Seal symbol venerables of the Pill symbol sect hurriedly nodded in acknowledgement. After giving instructions to the people behind him, the 9th Seal symbol overlord of the Pill Seal School charged at Mo Qingyun and said, "Kid, an 8th Seal sect doesn't only have 8th Seal experts. You probably didn't expect that I'm already a 9th Seal expert, right? Is a 9th Seal expert very powerful?" Mo Qingyun pursed his lips in response to the Pill Seal School's ancestors' words. He said disdainfully, "In my eyes, you're no different from an 8th Seal or 7th Seal cultivator. Golden Snake, Shining Halberd." Mo Qingyun took out the immortal immolating halberd and stabbed it at the Pill Seal School's patriarch. Mo Qingyun's body glowed brightly and disappeared before the eyes of the Pill Seal School members. Spurt. When Mo Qingyun reappeared, his halberd had already pierced through the Pill Seal School's patriarch's chest. Bang! As the immortal immolating halberd pierced through his chest, a ball of flames erupted from the Pill Seal School's patriarch's body and burned him to ashes. The patriarch was dead. Looking at the scene in front of them, everyone's expression was shocked, and they were all stunned on the spot. The strongest existence of the Pill Seal School, the patriarch of a 9th Seal Talisman Overlord, was actually no match for a single move from Mo Qingyun. This was too shocking. Didn't this mean that they were even less of a match for Mo Qingyun? The sky-breaking halberd of heavenly flames. Mo Qingyun ignored the shock of the Pill Seal School's members and swept the immortal immolating halberd out. A 1,000-meter-long flaming dragon burst forth from the immortal immolating halberd and engulfed the Pill Seal School's members. The Pill Seal School's disciples didn't even have time to scream when they were engulfed by this huge flame dragon. They were burned to ashes by the flame dragon. After killing the Pill Seal School's members, Emochinyan didn't stop and began to loot the Pill Seal School. Chapter 1128. The Pill Talisman School is truly worthy of being a sect that has existed for several tens of thousands of years. The richness of their foundation is truly astonishing. On the way back to the Mao Fu sect, Emochinyan revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He was very satisfied with his harvest this time. I didn't expect that I would be able to gather nearly 90% of the ingredients for the profound underworld soul-nourishing pill just by plundering the Pill Talisman School's treasures. This is truly surprising. At this moment, Emochinyan couldn't help but feel a strong sense of anticipation for the treasures of the other three sections. Afterward, Emochinyan rushed back to the Mao Fu sect with this sense of anticipation. On the way back to the Mao Fu sect, Emochinyan didn't use the teleportation gate. Instead, he used teleportation to hurry back. Teleportation was a technique possessed by Exalted Realm experts, and it was also the signature ability of Exalted Realm experts. When Emochinyan used teleportation to travel, it consumed less energy than when he used the teleportation gate. However, the speed of travel was also slower. Therefore, Emochinyan spent 2 days before he finally returned to the Mao Fu sect. By the time Emochinyan returned to the Mao Fu sect, He Xian and the Iron Wing had already returned. Only Savage Beast was still on his way back. However, Emochinyan wasn't worried about Savage Beast's safety. This was because he had already received a transmission from Savage Beast. Emochinyan returned to the Mao Fu sect and took the Cosmos pouches from He Xian and Iron Wing. Then, he stored the two into his soul palace. After storing He Xian and Iron Wing in his soul palace, Missouri Qingyan found Emo Zai and Iron Wing and sent them into the Five Directions Pagoda. After Emochinyan was done, Savage Beast rushed back to the Mao Fu sect and handed over the treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School to him. After receiving the Cosmos pouches from Savage Beast, Emochinyan stored Savage Beast in his soul palace. Then, he began to check the treasures of the 4 sections. Emochinyan first checked the treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School. The Tyrannical Talisman School was famous for its powerful physique. Therefore, the treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School mainly focused on strengthening one's physique. 1,000-year colored glass crystal. After checking the treasures of Tyrannical Talisman School, Emochinyan's treasures, a milky white crystalline object. The 10,000-year stalactite crystal was condensed from the essence of stalactite after 10,000 years, and it was a rare body refinement material. This piece of 10,000 years colored glaze stalactite is as big as a wash basin. If I can refine it, my physical strength will definitely increase by a level. Looking at the 10,000-year colored glaze stalactite in front of him, Emochinyan's expression became excited. He was looking forward to the next item, but thousand, by the thousand years. There were nearly 1 million alchemy materials, enough to refine 100,000 king pills, 10,000 emperor pills, and dozens of supreme pills. Apart from that, there were also several thousand tyrannical talismans. They could change the physique of ordinary talisman masters, giving them the qualifications to cultivate the Tyrannical Talisman School. The remaining treasures were talismans. Among them, there were several hundred 8-seal talismans, 10,000 7-seal talismans, and countless talismans below the 7-seal level. With these treasures, the overall strength of the Sea Talisman School and the Thatch Talisman School will increase by several folds. Emochinyan was excited as he looked at the treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School. He sighed in his heart. Emochinyan then began to check the treasures of the Shadow Talisman School. Compared to the treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School, The treasures of the Shadow Talisman School were much less useful to Mo Qingyun. They were all rare and unpopular items. Apart from some alchemy materials and some talismans of the Shadow Talisman School, the other treasures didn't have much use. In the end, the value of the treasures of the Shadow Talisman School was not even half of what the Tyrannical Talisman School had. Mo Qingyun couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He then began to check the treasures of the Sword Talisman School. When he opened the Cosmo sack that contained the Sword Talisman School's treasures, the richness of the treasures was obviously several levels higher. Even the treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School paled in comparison. The treasures of the Tyrannical Talisman School were almost half of what they had. No wonder they're the most powerful sect among the 5 absolute sect. Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the treasures of the Sword Talisman School. He then began to check the treasures of the Sword Talisman School. After checking the treasures, Mo Qingyun smiled happily. He said excitedly, "No wonder they're the Sword Talisman School. They even have such abundant alchemy materials. With this, I have gathered all the alchemy materials needed to refine the great mystery underworld soul-nourishing elixir." After checking the alchemy materials, Mo Qingyun began to check the talismans of the Sword Talisman School and other miscellaneous items. After he was done, a pile of stones filled with spiritual energy attracted Mo Qingyun's attention. Celestial stones. There were so many celestial stones in the treasures of the Sword Talisman School. The number was close to 100,000. 100,000 celestial stones. Looking at the pile of celestial stones in front of him, Mo Qingyun became excited. He said in surprise, "With these 100,000 celestial stones, I don't have to worry about running out of celestial stones when I use the spiritual puppet in battle." After saying this excitedly, Mo Qingyun carefully put away the celestial stones and took out the Cosmo sack of the Elixir Talisman School. When the Elixir Talisman School was collecting items, Mo Qingyun paid attention to the alchemy materials, but he didn't pay attention to the other items. Therefore, it was necessary to take a good inventory before they could be sorted out and put away. Since the Elixir Talisman School didn't need to check the alchemy materials, it was much easier to check the other items. After a round of checking, a strange token attracted Mo Qingyun's attention. The token looked very ordinary, but contained a very strange power, which made Mo Qingyun's heart palpitate. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun carefully picked up the token and put it in his hand to check. Immortal Seeking Academy. After taking the token in his hand and studying it, the 4 simple words on the token entered Mo Qingyun's sight. Looking at the 4 simple words, Mo Qingyun guessed the function of the token. It should be the identity token of the Immortal Seeking Academy. Where is this Immortal Seeking Academy? It's just an identity token, but it contains such a terrifying aura. Looking at the identity token in his hand, Mo Qingyun was shocked. He was curious about the Immortal Seeking Academy. Then, Mo Qingyun released a trace of soul power and penetrated it into the identity token, trying to refine it. Buzz! As soon as Mo Qingyun's soul power penetrated the token, there was a buzzing sound in his mind. He was hit by a terrifying force, and there was a sharp pain. Then, Mo Qingyun's sea of consciousness began to crack, and obvious cracks appeared. After a while, when the shocking force gradually dissipated, Mo Qingyun's consciousness returned to normal. As Mo Qingyun's consciousness returned to normal, his sea of consciousness also began to recover. Is this the means of an immortal? Recalling the terrifying force, Mo Qingyun's face showed lingering fear. He said with lingering fear, "Just a remnant of consciousness almost destroyed my sea of consciousness. This is too terrifying. Fortunately, I refined the absolute beginning fortune fruit. Otherwise, my sea of consciousness would have been destroyed and I would have died." After calming down the shock and lingering fear in his heart, Mo Qingyun's curiosity about the Immortal Seeking Academy became stronger. Chapter 1129. After sorting out all the items, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time and began to refine the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. Immortal forest fire dew crystal, revolving sun spring, three ponds water cloud pear, gray wolf electric lawn leaf. Mo Qingyun took out the materials needed to refine the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill from his cosmos bag and arranged them in an orderly manner in front of him. After taking out the materials, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and began to refine the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. The Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill was only a venerable grade elixir. Moreover, Mo Qingyun had refined it many times and was very familiar with it. Therefore, it was not difficult for Mo Qingyun to refine the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. Bang! As Mo Qingyun took out the sacred beast cauldron, he injected a soul fire into the cauldron and threw in the elixir refining materials. Under the refinement of the soul fire supported by the law of fire, the elixir refining materials were smelted and purified, turning into puffs of pure elixir. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and began to solidify the elixir into elixir. After a while, a strong elixir fragrance spread from the sacred beast cauldron. As the elixir fragrance spread, a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky above the sacred beast cauldron. It was an elixir image. Seeing that the elixir image of the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill was formed, Mo Qingyun quickly formed a hand seal and hit the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill in the sacred beast cauldron. Suddenly, the two Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pills in the sacred beast cauldron slowly flew out of the cauldron and flew to the center of the elixir image. They were surrounded by the elixir image like two dragons playing with a pearl. The elixir image circled the two elixirs for a while and then slowly retracted its light and merged with the two elixirs. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and took the two elixirs into his hand. The Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill is refined. It's time to heal Brother Lu and Senior Brother Ho. Looking at the two Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pills in his hand, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately left the five-directional small pagoda. After exiting the five-directional pagoda, Mo Qingyun left his room and headed to Lu Feng and Ho's room. A short while later, Mo Qingyun arrived at Lu Feng's room. He pushed open the door and walked in. "Brother, you're here." "Junior brother, our injuries," Lu Feng said Lu and Lu. "That's good. However, I only suppressed your injuries last time and didn't let them completely recover." Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he heard the two of them. He took out the Tai-Chien spring soul-nourishing pill and said, "Big brother, senior brother, I refined a cauldron of Tai-Chien spring soul-nourishing pills not long ago. Consume it now." With the assistance of the Tai-Chien spring soul-nourishing pills, you should be able to recover very quickly. Honorable Great Elixir, Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ho Shihhua's expression suddenly became startled and excited. Ho Shihhua had heard about the honorable grade Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. It was a divine elixir that could heal soul injuries. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to refine such an elixir. That's right. Seeing Ho Shihhua's excited expression, Mo Qingyun handed the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill to Ho Shihhua and said, "Recently, I obtained the materials to refine the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. So I refined it. It's really the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. Moreover, it's a perfect grade." Ho Shihhua could not help but exclaim when he received the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill from Mo Qingyun. He looked at Mo Qingyun with admiration and said, "Junior brother, your talent in alchemy really puts me to shame. Brother Ho, Qingyun's talent in cultivation seems to put us to shame even more," Lu Feng said with a bitter expression after hearing Ho Shihhua's words. He could not help but sigh. Ho Shihhua immediately fell silent when he heard Lu Feng's words. He looked at Mo Qingyun with a strange expression. Lu Feng was right. Compared to Mo Qingyun's talent in alchemy, Ho Shihhua's talent in cultivation seemed to be more terrifying. "Senior brother, big brother, please refine the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill. I won't disturb your recovery." After handing over the Tai-Chien soul-nourishing pill to Lu Feng and Ho Shihhua, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer and left their room. After leaving Lu Feng's room, Mo Qingyun went to Elder Tan's residence to hand over some cultivation resources to him. A short while later, in Elder Tan's residence, Qingyun, you're here? Elder Tan greeted Mo Qingyun with a gratified expression when he saw Mo Qingyun walking into the small courtyard. Elder Tan was extremely gratified to have Mo Qingyun as his disciple. When he thought about it, he could not help but feel grateful. Back then, when he accepted Mo Qingyun as his disciple, he had to coax him to succeed. In truth, there was an element of luck involved in it. After greeting Mo Qingyun, Elder Tan's expression turned serious as he asked, Qingyun, your appointment with Sect Master Yao Honghu is coming soon. When do you plan to go to the Heavenly Demon Talisman sect? I'm going right now. Mo Qingyun replied solemnly when he heard Elder Tan's question. He continued, I'm here to look for Master because I want to give you some things. After I hand them over to you, I'll set off for the Heavenly Demon Talisman sect. Oh, Elder Tan's expression changed slightly when he heard that Mo Qingyun wanted to give him something. A hint of curiosity could be seen on his face. Subsequently, under Elder Tan's gaze, Mo Qingyun took out several Chinquin bags and handed them over to Elder Tan. When Elder Tan saw the Chinquin bags handed over by Mo Qingyun, he revealed a puzzled and curious expression as he opened all the Chinquin bags. These! Elder Tan was instantly stunned when he saw the items in the Chinquin bags. He could not believe what he was seeing from the corner of his eyes. The Chinquin bags in front of him were filled with all sorts of cultivation resources. The number of resources was shocking. In particular, there were talismans from the 4 ultimate sects. These items could change the physique of ordinary talisman masters, allowing them to obtain the qualifications to cultivate the 4 ultimate sects. Overlord Body Talisman, Shadow Talisman, Sword Talisman, and Elixir Talisman. Elder Tan's eyes widened when he saw the 4 types of talismans in the Chinquin bags. He exclaimed in shock, Qingyun, where did you get these talismans from? Did you rob the 4 ultimate sects? No. From now on, the 4 ultimate sects will no longer exist in the Immortal Road. When he heard Elder Tan's question, Mo Qingyun shook his head indifferently and replied calmly, the 4 ultimate sects will no longer exist in the Immortal Road? When Elder Tan heard this, he could not help but frown and reveal a puzzled expression. However, he quickly understood the meaning of Mo Qingyun's words. He immediately revealed a shocked expression and said, You destroyed the 4 ultimate sects? Yes. Seeing that Elder Tan had guessed correctly, Mo Qingyun did not deny it and nodded in acknowledgement. SSS. Seeing Mo Qingyun admit it, Elder Tan immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. The shock in his heart grew even more. Chapter 1130. After handing over the items to Elder Tan, Mo Qingyun left Elder Tan's residence and returned to his own. After returning to his residence, Mo Qingyun summoned He Xian and Iron Wing. He said to the 2 of them, Senior He Xian, Iron Wing, I will be leaving the Mao Fu sect for a period of time. During this time, the 2 of you will temporarily guard the Mao Fu sect for me. All right. After hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, He Xian and Iron Wing didn't even think about it and agreed to Mo Qingyun's request. After instructing He Xian and Iron Wing to stay in the Mao Fu sect, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer and directly set off for the Sky Demon Talisman sect. After leaving the Mao Fu sect, Mo Qingyun summoned Savage Beast and had Savage Beast carry him to the Sky Demon Talisman sect. While having Savage Beast carry him, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and entered the 5 Directions Miniature Pagoda to begin cultivating. After entering the 5 Directions Miniature Pagoda, Mo Qingyun took out the 10,000-year colored glass crystal and began refining and absorbing it. Under Mo Qingyun's refinement, the 10,000-year colored glass crystal began to melt bit by bit and turned into milky white water droplets. The 10,000-year colored glass crystal turned into a milky white water droplet and entered Mo Qingyun's body through Mo Qingyun's pores. After the 10,000-year color glass crystal entered Mo Qingyun's body, it was refined bit by Mo Qingyun and changed the strength of Mo Qingyun's physical body. Under the nourishment of the 10,000-year color glass crystal, Mo Qingyun's body began to emit specks of light, giving off a crystalline and translucent feeling. Not only that, but Mo Qingyun's body also excreted some sticky substance that emitted an unpleasant smell. As the viscous substance was expelled, Mo Qingyun felt that his body had instantly become much lighter, and his connection with the heavens and earth had also become much stronger. When this feeling appeared, Mo Qingyun immersed himself wholeheartedly in cultivation, absorbing the 10,000-year stalactite colored glass crystal like he was drinking breast milk. The time that followed passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, half a year passed. At this moment, a golden light appeared above Mo Qingyun. It condensed into a golden crown and slowly entered Mo Qingyun's body. Following this, a wave of domineering king's aura emanated from Mo Qingyun's body. After such a scene appeared, Mo Qingyun, who was in the middle of cultivation, suddenly opened his eyes with joy and said excitedly, "I didn't expect that after refining more than half of the 10,000-year colored glass crystal, my physical strength would be promoted to the level of a king weapon." Seeing that his physical strength had improved, Mo Qingyun stretched his body and felt the changes in his body. After a while, Mo Qingyun smiled with satisfaction. He was very satisfied with the situation of his body. He could clearly feel that not only had his body become more flexible, but it had also become more agile. Not only that, but Mo Qingyun's punches and kicks also exuded a king's aura, which caused a kind of spiritual intimidation. This kind of intimidation was a bit similar to the oppression of the bloodline power, but it was somewhat different. The oppression of the bloodline power leaned towards the oppression of the body, while the oppression of the intimidation leaned towards the oppression of the soul. These sticky substances sticking to my body are really uncomfortable. After stretching his body, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and showed a somewhat disgusted expression. Then, Mo Qingyun released the law of water and cleaned his body. After the sticky substances were cleaned, Mo Qingyun immediately felt refreshed and said with a faint smile, "Although my physical strength has been promoted to the level of a king weapon, there are still some 10,000-year colored glass crystals in my body that have not been refined and absorbed. I will refine them now." After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and entered into cultivation again to refine the remaining 10,000-year colored glass crystals in his body. After entering into cultivation again to refine the remaining 10,000-year colored glass crystals in his body, the comfortable feeling appeared again. After this comfortable feeling appeared, Mo Qingyun clearly felt that his physical body was strengthening little by little. 1 month later, Mo Qingyun withdrew from cultivation again, and the aura exuding from his body was stronger than a month ago. Mid-grade king weapons, physical strength. After a month of cultivation and refining the 10,000-year colored glass crystals in his body, Mo Qingyun's physical strength was strengthened once again. However, Mo Qingyun did not stop cultivating. Instead, he began to condense the essence force in his body and integrate the law force into the fortune mainland. As the law force integrated into the fortune mainland began to undergo great changes, and its territory expanded several times. 10 days later, Mo Qingyun finally integrated all 9 kinds of law force into the fortune mainland. As the fortune mainland's law force merged with Huang Xiaolong's fortune mainland, its surface area had expanded by nearly 1,000 times compared to before. At this moment, the momentum exuding from Mo Qingyun's body also soared. Mo Qingyun's cultivation had finally broken through to the sovereign realm. Sovereign realm. So this is the sovereign realm, truly powerful. As his cultivation broke through to the sovereign realm, Mo Qingyun instantly discovered that his strength had increased by several times. Hung, pung, pung. At this moment, Mo Qingyun exuded an explosive power as he raised his hands and stomped his feet. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's face lit up with joy, and he excitedly said, "With my current strength, if I meet Sovereign Devil Ox and the others again, I can easily kill them in a single exchange." Mo Qingyun's heart leaped with joy, and he no longer hesitated, once again immersing himself in cultivation. As Mo Qingyun entered a state of cultivation, he madly absorbed the essence force inside the Five Directions Pagoda to replenish the Fortune mainland's spiritual energy needs. Soon, the essence force inside the Five Directions Pagoda was completely absorbed by Mo Qingyun, and there were no longer any traces of energy fluctuations. After my cultivation broke through to the sovereign realm, the amount of essence force inside the Fortune mainland has increased by a lot. Seeing that the Five Directions Pagoda's essence force was completely absorbed, Mo Qingyun sighed and took out a large amount of Pill Palace's origin crystals to refine. Soon, several small mountains of Pill Palace's origin crystals appeared around Mo Qingyun's body. After taking out the Pill Palace's origin crystals, Mo Qingyun began refining them, extracting strands of essence force from them. Under Mo Qingyun's refinement, the small mountains of Pill Palace's crystals were refined one after another, turning into piles of useless powder. Even so, the amount of essence force needed to fill the Fortune mainland still hadn't reached the point of saturation. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. I didn't expect that after refining all 300 million Pill Palace's origin crystals, the Fortune mainland still hasn't reached the point of saturation. It seems like I still need to refine immortal stones. Chapter 11:31. The amount of spiritual energy contained in immortal stones was far from what Pill Palace crystals could compare to. According to Mo Qingyun's estimation, the amount of spiritual energy contained in one immortal stone was roughly equivalent to 100,000 Pill Palace crystals. In that case, the amount of spiritual energy contained in 50,000 immortal stones was roughly equivalent to 5 billion Pill Palace crystals. With the replenishment of 50,000 immortal stones, the amount of elemental energy required by the Fortune mainland was no longer a problem. As the immortal stones were emptied of their spiritual energy, they turned into ordinary stones. The amount of elemental energy in the Fortune mainland grew denser and denser. As the amount of elemental energy in the Fortune mainland continued to increase, the strength of the natives living on the Fortune mainland also rose along with the tide. Following that, another wave of breakthroughs was set off on the Fortune mainland. One by one, the natives' cultivation broke through. As the Aborigines made breakthroughs in their cultivation, waves of strange energy once again emanated from their bodies. After this strange energy was emitted, it flew out from the Fortune mainland and entered Mo Qingyun's body. When this strange energy entered Mo Qingyun's body, it strengthened Mo Qingyun's physical body, meridians, and even his sea of consciousness in all aspects. This kind of strengthening wasn't visible on the surface, but it truly existed, as if it was a kind of subtle strengthening. Regarding this, Mo Qingyun didn't mind too much. In short, this wasn't a bad thing. Just like this, Mo Qingyun absorbed the spiritual energy from the immortal stones while being strengthened by the strange energy. Of course, as this strange energy strengthened Mo Qingyun's physical body, the amount of strange energy in his body also increased rapidly. After roughly 3 months, Mo Qingyun stopped refining the immortal stones. The Fortune mainland's elemental energy was finally saturated. The amount of elemental energy in the Fortune mainland is finally completely saturated. Seeing that the Fortune mainland's elemental energy was saturated, Mo Qingyun withdrew from his cultivation and kept the remaining immortal stones. After 3 months of refining, he had refined a total of close to 40,000 immortal stones. This was truly a terrifying consumption. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun had obtained 100,000 immortal stones from the Sword Talisman sect. Otherwise, he would not be able to bear such a consumption. After refining 40,000 immortal stones, Mo Qingyun's cultivation base had improved significantly. Although Mo Qingyun's cultivation hadn't reached the intermediate Dominator realm, it had reached the peak of the early Dominator realm. He was only a step away from the intermediate Dominator realm. With my current strength, even if I don't use any of my trump cards, I can still put up a fight against an ordinary Sovereign Realm expert. After checking the progress of his strength, Mo Qingyun immediately had a rough estimate of his current strength. Young Lord, we've reached the Sky Demon Talisman Gate. When Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating, Savage Beast's spiritual transmission appeared in his mind. Have we arrived? After receiving Savage Beast's spiritual transmission, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. He was a little surprised. He had just finished cultivating, and Savage Beast had arrived at the Sky Demon Talisman Gate. What a coincidence! Immediately, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and left the Five-Direction Pagoda. After arriving at the Five-Direction Pagoda, Mo Qingyun kept Savage Beast in the Soul Palace and walked towards the Sky Demon Talisman Gate alone. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of a huge Devil's Denver. He saw a huge stone door that was tightly shut. This was where the Sky Demon Talisman Gate was located. The mountain gate of the Sky Demon Talisman Gate was very different from other sections. It was a huge Devil's Den built underground. After taking a quick look at the Devil's Den in front of him, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and walked towards the huge stone door in front of him. Dong, dong, dong. When he arrived in front of the stone door, Mo Qingyun picked up a stone hammer and knocked a few times on the stone bell outside the stone door. Boom, boom, boom. After Mo Qingyun knocked on the stone bell a few times, it let out a deafening sound. Duh. After that, a small window appeared beside the huge stone door. A head popped out from it and said, "Friend, our Sky Demon Talisman Gate is currently in a sealed state. We are not receiving any guests." Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun did not reveal a surprised expression. With a calm face, he said, "Senior brother, I am Mo Qingyun from the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering. I just entered the Sky Demon Talisman Gate 10 years ago. This is my identity token. Please help me pass on the message." After speaking, Mo Qingyun took out his identity token and handed it over to the disciple. Mo Qingyun, you are the number one of the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering. Junior brother Mo Qingyun. After hearing Mo Qingyun's identity, the disciple's face was instantly filled with shock. Then, without any hesitation, he said excitedly to Mo Qingyun, "Junior brother Mo, please wait for a moment. I will go and inform the sect leader and the rest." "Thank you, senior brother." Mo Qingyun's face was filled with gratitude as he humbly clasped his hands together. Then, the disciple ran off to inform Yao Honghu of Mo Qingyun's arrival. Not long after the disciple left, Mo Qingyun heard a series of hurried footsteps coming from the stone cave. Boom, boom, boom. Following the footsteps, Mo Qingyun saw the huge stone door slowly rising, producing a series of loud noises. As the stone door rose, the ground began to shake as if something huge was happening. After a while, the stone door stopped and several figures walked out of the stone cave. Leading them was the sect leader of the Sky Demon Talisman sect, Yao Honghu. Beside him stood several elders of the Sky Demon Talisman sect. Disciple Mo Qingyun greets the sect leader and elders. When he saw Yao Honghu and the rest appear, Mo Qingyun put on a humble expression and clasped his hands together to greet them. "No need to be so polite. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back." When he saw Mo Qingyun's actions, Yao Honghu revealed a joyful smile and waved his hand at Mo Qingyun. When Yao Honghu waved his hand, a peak ninth seal symbol overlord elder beside him suddenly frowned and said in surprise, 8 seals, that's not right." It seems to be 9 seals. When they heard this elder's words, the expressions of Yao Honghu and the rest changed. They released their soul force to sense Mo Qingyun's cultivation. When they sensed it, they were all shocked by the fluctuations of Mo Qingyun's aura. Although they couldn't be sure of Mo Qingyun's current cultivation, they were certain that Mo Qingyun's current cultivation was definitely above 8 seals. In just 10 years, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had broken through from 6 seals to 8 seals. This kind of cultivation speed was really a little frightening. Qingyun, what's your current cultivation? After sensing Mo Qingyun's aura, Yao Honghu revealed an excited expression and asked Mo Qingyun in an expectant tone. You can say it's 9 seals. In response to Yao Honghu's question, Mo Qingyun didn't hide anything and told him his cultivation with a faint smile. 9 seals. It really was 9 seals. When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu and the rest trembled and their expressions became extremely excited. Chapter 1132. Good. After learning about Mo Qingyun's true cultivation base, Yao Honghu's face lit up, and he said the word good 3 times in a row. From this, it could be seen how excited he was right now. Yao Honghu was not the only one who was excited. The elders of the Sky Demon Talisman sect were also excited after learning about Mo Qingyun's true cultivation base. In this way, the Sky Demon Talisman sect would have another 9 seals expert. Moreover, it would be an extremely talented 9 seals expert. This was an incredible matter. Sect leader, with Qingyun and our Sky Demon Talisman sect, we will definitely surpass the other 9 sects in less than 10 years. If those hypocrites from the 9 Great Immortal Gates knew that Qingyun had improved so quickly, they would definitely go crazy with anger. These guys want to use the same method to deal with our Sky Demon Talisman sect. What a fool's dream. In an instant, all the elders were agitated and spoke indignantly. They despised the 9 Great Immortal Gates to the extreme. Everyone, let me return to the sect first. Hearing the elders' words, Yao Honghu smiled happily. He called out to them and turned to walk into the devil's den. Seeing Yao Honghu's action, the elders no longer hesitated and followed him into the devil's den. After entering the devil's den, Yao Honghu ordered the guarding disciples to put down the huge rock at the entrance. Sect leader, please wait. Seeing Yao Honghu's actions, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and called out to him, stopping him from doing so. Qingyun, what's wrong? Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Yao Honghu was puzzled and asked Mo Qingyun in return. Yao Honghu was not the only one who was puzzled. Even the elders at the side looked at Mo Qingyun with puzzled expressions. As far as they were concerned, the Sky Devil Talisman sect was currently in a state of seclusion, so it was only natural for them to lower the boulder at the entrance. Seeing the puzzled gazes of Yao Honghu and the others, Mo Qingyun revealed a solemn expression and said in a deep voice, Sectmaster, elders, in my opinion, it's time for my Sky Devil Talisman sect to close its doors. It's time for us to reopen our doors. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu and the others fell silent. They felt that Mo Qingyun's words made sense. However, in the face of the combined pressure of the 9 Great Immortal Gates, it was still too early to open the gates. Sect leader, if it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If it's a curse, we can't avoid it. I think that sealing the sect will only make us lose our momentum. It won't solve any problems. Seeing that Yao Honghu and the others didn't speak, Mo Qingyun revealed a solemn expression and expressed his opinion. Perhaps it won't be long before the 9 Great Immortal Gates cease to exist. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu and the others were shocked. From Mo Qingyun's words, they were able to glean some information. Mo Qingyun was going to deal with the 9 Great Immortal Gates. Qingyun, I know you're furious about Mo Qing's death, but the strength of the 9 Great Immortal Gates is not to be underestimated. You can't be careless in the slightest. After knowing Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Yao Honghu revealed a solemn expression and hurriedly advised Mo Qingyun, with your outstanding cultivation talent, as long as you endure for another 10 years, you'll be able to sweep through the 9 great immortal gates. At that time, it won't be too late to avenge Mo Qing. That's right, revenge is a dish best served cold. Qingyun, you mustn't be rash. After hearing Yao Honghu's words, the elders of the Sky Demon Talisman sect revealed solemn expressions as they tried to persuade Mo Qingyun. In response to everyone's persuasion, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "Sect leader, elders, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. I won't act rashly." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu and the others relaxed. They were really worried that Mo Qingyun would act rashly and charge into the 9 great immortal gates alone. In their opinion, although Mo Qingyun's cultivation talent was astonishing and his current strength far surpassed his peers, compared to the 9 great immortal gates, there was still a huge gap. Sect leader, I've been in the Sky Demon Talisman sect for a while. Why haven't I seen the invincible blade? After walking with Yao Honghu and the others for a while, Mo Qingyun realized that he hadn't seen the invincible blade. He asked Yao Honghu with a puzzled expression. He got the news from Fong Peng that the invincible blade was brought back to the Sky Demon Talisman sect by Yao Honghu after killing Li Liangchen. Now that he had come to the Sky Demon Talisman sect, the invincible blade, as a servant, should have come out to meet him. The invincible blade, hearing Mo Qingyun ask about the invincible blade, the expressions of Yao Honghu and the others sank. Their faces became solemn. Looking at their expressions, Mo Qingyun could guess that something bad must have happened to the invincible blade. What happened to the invincible blade? Mo Qingyun revealed a nervous expression and asked Yao Honghu again. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question again, Yao Honghu didn't hide it anymore. He sighed and said, "In order to avenge Mo Qingyun, when the invincible blade killed Li Liangchen, he seemed to have used some forbidden secret technique, which caused his cultivation to skyrocket. However, because of this, he also became obsessed and completely lost his mind, turning into a murderous maniac. Could it be that with your ability, you can't suppress the demonic thoughts in his heart?" Hearing Yao Honghu's words, Mo Qingyun's expression couldn't help but freeze, revealing a strong concern. No matter what, he couldn't shirk the responsibility for the invincible blade becoming like this. We're good at soul cultivation, but the demonic thoughts in the invincible blade's heart came from the bloodline in his body. We can't do anything about it. Yao Honghu sighed, revealing a helpless expression on his face. "Bring me to see him." Hearing Yao Honghu's words, Mo Qingyun didn't want to delay any longer and decided to take a look at the invincible blade situation. Okay. Hearing Mo Qingyun's request, Yao Honghu nodded and began to bring Mo Qingyun to see the invincible blade. In a short while, Mo Qingyun came to a spacious secret chamber under Yao Honghu's lead. Mo Qingyun. In this secret chamber, there was a powerful forbidden formation that trapped the invincible saber. Kill, kill, kill. In the forbidden formation, the invincible blade had a crazy expression on his face, constantly bombarding the forbidden formation. Every time the invincible blade waved his palm, there would be a blade radiance that was comparable to a Supreme Realm expert's full blow, bombarding the forbidden formation overbearingly. However, the forbidden formation was extremely powerful, enough to withstand a blow from a peak Sovereign Realm expert. Hence, the invincible blade couldn't break it. Seeing the invincible blade in such a state, Mo Qingyun couldn't bear to see it. He turned to Yao Honghu and said, "Sect leader, open the forbidden formation first. I want to go in and take a look at the invincible blade situation." "Qingyun, the invincible blade is unconscious now. If you enter the forbidden formation, I'm afraid that he will." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu immediately showed a worried expression and tried to persuade Mo Qingyun nervously. However, before Yao Honghu could finish his words, he was interrupted by Mo Qingyun. After interrupting Yao Honghu's persuasion, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said indifferently, "Sect leader, don't worry. With my current cultivation and strength, the invincible blade can't hurt me." Chapter 1133. In Yao Honghu's opinion, Mo Qingyun was right. With Mo Qingyun's current strength as a ninth seal charm overlord, the invincible blade could not hurt him. Therefore, Mo Qingyun would not be in too much danger after entering the Forbidden Formation. Moreover, he would also enter the Array Formation with Mo Qingyun, so all he had to do was guard Mo Qingyun at all times. Roar! Seeing that Mo Qingyun and Yao Honghu had entered the Forbidden Formation, the invincible blade let out a beast-like roar, and its eyes flashed with a blood-red light. "Qingyun, be careful. The invincible blade has lost his mind." Seeing that Mo Qingyun had no intention of dodging or blocking the invincible blade's attack, Yao Honghu looked nervous and hurriedly reminded Mo Qingyun loudly. Not only that, but when Yao Honghu spoke, he was also prepared to stop the invincible blade's attack. "Sect leader, you don't have to do anything. I have my own plans." Seeing Yao Honghu's actions, Mo Qingyun hurriedly stopped him and told him his thoughts. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu hesitated for a moment. In the end, he stopped what he was doing. Bloodline oppression. When Yao Honghu stopped attacking, a shocking bloodline power erupted from Mo Qingyun's body. After this bloodline power appeared, the invincible blade's body immediately stopped moving and fell heavily to the ground. When the invincible blade was pressed to the ground, Yao Honghu, who had the strength of a ninth seal charm overlord, was also forced to retreat. What a powerful bloodline power. Even I was forced to retreat under this bloodline power. Feeling the bloodline power in Mo Qingyun's body, Yao Honghu suddenly looked shocked, as if he did not recognize Mo Qingyun. However, after a short moment of shock, Yao Honghu was ecstatic and said, "Good lad, you hit it so well. It seems that even if I want to defeat you, it won't be easy." In Yao Honghu's opinion, the stronger Mo Qingyun was, the better it would be for the Sky Devil Talisman sect. As the sect master of the Sky Devil Talisman sect, he naturally wouldn't object to the addition of a powerful expert to the sect. Bang! The body of the invincible blade was pressed to the ground, making a loud noise and stirring up a cloud of dust. Following that, a strong sense of pain and struggle emerged on the invincible blade's face. From the looks of it, he seemed to be fighting against the demonic thoughts in his heart. Apart from that, the blood chi emitted from the invincible blade was also gradually converging into its body. That feeling was as if the bloodline power in the invincible blade had encountered an existence that terrified it. What a powerful bloodline power. It can actually make the invincible blade's bloodline power fearful. Seeing the change in the aura of the invincible blade, Yao Honghu was shocked again. He was surprised by Mo Qingyun's bloodline power. As the bloodline power in the invincible blade's body was restrained, the demonic intent emitted from the bloodline also became weaker. As the demonic intent emitted from the bloodline became weaker, the ferocity in the eyes of the invincible blade also weakened a little. There was a faint wisp of clarity. After seeing this, Mo Qingyun's expression couldn't help but be delighted. A faint smile appeared on his face, and he said, "The consciousness of the invincible blade has not been completely demonized. There is still a trace of clarity left. As long as he takes a wishful clear, evil-repelling elixir within 7 days, it will be fine." Honorable grade elixir. Wishful clear, evil-repelling elixir? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu's expression couldn't help but change. He said with a bitter expression, "Qingyun, I'm afraid you don't know. This wishful clear, evil-repelling elixir is an honorable grade elixir. Only the alchemy venerables in the human path can refine it. The alchemy venerable's status in the human path is higher than the sovereign realm experts. It's not that easy to invite them." Speaking of this, Yao Honghu shook his head and smiled bitterly again. He said with a helpless expression, "Not to mention whether we can invite the alchemy venerables to help. Even if the alchemy venerables are willing to help, it's impossible to refine a cauldron of wishful, clear, evil-repelling elixir in just 7 days. Seeing Yao Honghu's reaction, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly at him and comforted him. Sect Master, don't worry. There's no need to go through so much trouble. As long as there are the materials to refine the wishful, clear, evil-repelling elixir, I can refine it. You can refine it? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu's expression suddenly froze. He thought he had heard wrongly. According to Mo Qingyun's words, could he be an alchemy venerable? Unfortunately, I happen to be an alchemy venerable. Looking at Yao Honghu's surprised expression, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and asked Yao Honghu, Sect Master, don't I look like an alchemy venerable? No, that's not what I meant. You look like very similar, too similar. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu hurriedly shook his head and denied it. He was so excited that he spoke incoherently. He really did not expect that apart from Mo Qingyun's amazing cultivation talent, he actually had an even more amazing identity, an alchemy venerable. He did not expect that his unintentional action actually allowed the Heavenly Demon Talisman sect to recruit an alchemy venerable. This was really an unexpected gain. After calming down the surprise in his heart, Yao Honghu revealed an excited expression and praised Mo Qingyun. Qingyun, the surprises you bring to me are really increasing. I haven't seen you in just 10 years, and you're like a different person. If you have time in the future, you must tell me about your various experiences in the past 10 years. Okay. Mo Qingyun did not reject Yao Honghu's request. He nodded directly and said, Sect Master, now I'm going to suppress the bloodline power in the Invincible Blade's body. Help me to collect these materials. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he took out a complete piece of animal skin and wrote down the alchemy materials on it. These materials were all materials to refine the good fortune clear, evil repelling pill. Okay, I'll go and prepare now. After a while, Yao Honghu took the animal skin from Mo Qingyun and directly left the forbidden formation. The sealed door. After Yao Honghu left the forbidden formation, Mo Qingyun directly cast the sealed door to seal the Invincible Blade's spiritual soul and bloodline power. Sealing the Invincible Blade's bloodline and spiritual soul could slow down the erosion of the demonic thoughts in his body. After casting the sealed door, Mo Qingyun did not stop there. Instead, he took out various materials and placed them around the Invincible Blade's body. After a while, a formation that emitted golden light was formed around the Invincible Blade. The formation of this array formation that emitted golden light produced golden Sanskrit characters, which emitted a sound wave that reverberated around the beam. Then, these golden Sanskrit characters and the sound wave entered the Invincible Blade's body and purified the demonic thoughts in the Invincible Blade's body. I really did not expect the 9 temples to have such a wide range of formations. They even have the Great Prajna Thunder Meditation formation. Looking at the golden light formation in front of him, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile. After muttering to himself, he said, Now, I just have to wait for the sect master to send the alchemy materials and refine a furnace of good fortune, clear, evil-repelling pill. Chapter 1134. In the conference hall of the Maofu sect, a shocking piece of news reached the ears of Fong Peng and the others, causing them to be extremely shocked. What? The 4 ultimate sects have been destroyed? Qingyun did it? Elder Tan, are you joking with us? How is that possible? Yeah, although Qingyun has the strength of a 9th seal symbol overlord, it shouldn't be that easy for him to destroy the 4 ultimate sects. Fong Peng and the others were in disbelief. They didn't dare believe that this was true. In their hearts, the 4 ultimate sects were like giants that they could only look up to. Who would have thought that the 4 great sects would be destroyed by Mo Qingyun in such a short period of time? This news came too suddenly. Elder Tan was not surprised by everyone's shocked expressions. He said with a calm expression, The universe bag that I gave you earlier contained cultivation materials that Qin Yun took from the 4 great sections. So these cultivation resources were all taken from the 4 ultimate sects by Qin Yun. No wonder he had so many cultivation resources all of a sudden. That's right. My Qinkuan bag seems to contain quite a few talismans of the 4 ultimate sects. If that's the case, then it can't be wrong. In that case, Qin Yun's true strength has already surpassed that of an ordinary 9th seal symbol overlord. Everyone had a look of understanding when they heard Elder Tan's words. They had accepted the fact that Mo Qin Yun had destroyed the 4 ultimate sects. Everyone, what are you all talking about? At this moment, as everyone was talking, 2 hearty voices came from outside the conference hall. Following that, the crowd saw 2 figures appear before them. The newcomers were Lu Feng and Ho Shihua, who had been recuperating a few days ago. Based on their current appearances, their injuries had already completely healed, and their cultivation had even improved a little. So it's Brother Lu and Brother Ho. Looks like your injuries have already healed. Senior Lu, Senior Ho. When Elder Tan saw the arrival of Lu Feng and Luo Yunyang, a faint smile appeared on his face as he greeted them. Haha, our injuries are indeed fine now. This is all thanks to the great profound netherworld soul-nourishing pill refined by Qin Yun. Hearing Fong Peng and the others' greetings, Lu Feng and the other man smiled faintly and replied. After greeting Lu Feng and the others, Fong Peng and the others returned to their seats and continued their discussion. By the way, why haven't I seen Qin Yun? After Ho Shihua and the other man sat down, they both had puzzled expressions on their faces as they asked about Mo Qin Yun's whereabouts. Qin Yun, give me some cultivation resources and he'll head to the Sky Devil Talisman sect. Seeing Ho Shihua and Elder Tan asking about Mo Qin Yun, Elder Tan pointed to the cosmos pouches in everyone's hands and explained Mo Qin Yun's whereabouts. So he went to the Sky Devil Talisman sect. Judging by the time, his appointment with sect leader Yao should be coming soon. Hearing Elder Tan's words, Ho Shihua and the other man revealed a look of understanding. With curious expressions, they asked, by the way, I heard the disciples in the sect say that the 4 unique sects seem to have been destroyed by some expert. Do you all know about this? Hearing Ho Shihua's words, Elder Tan and the others' expressions turned strange. They did not know how to answer Ho Shihua. Seeing the reaction of Elder Tan and the others, Lu Feng smiled faintly and said, so you guys still don't know. When the 2 of us heard the news, we were also extremely shocked. Hearing Lu Feng's words, Elder Tan and the others' expressions turned even stranger. A bitter smile appeared on their faces. Brother Lu, no, that's not what I meant. After calming down, Elder Tan waved his hand at Lu Feng and the other man and said, Brother Lu, Brother Ho, we already know about the 4 unique sects being destroyed. In fact, the person who destroyed the 4 unique sects was Qin Yun. Pata pata. After Elder Tan's words, the sound of 2 teacups shattering rang out in the discussion hall. Lu Feng and Ho Shihua were both stunned. Disbelief was plastered on their faces as they sat motionless in their chairs. Evidently, Elder Tan's words at this moment shocked the 2 of them quite a bit. Looking at the stunned Lu Feng and Ho Shihua, Fong Peng's expression turned tense as he softly asked, Elder Lu, Elder Ho, are the 2 of you all right? What did you say? The 4 unique sects were destroyed by Qin Yun? Hearing Fong Peng's question, Lu Feng and Ho Shihua recovered their wits and asked in shock once again. That's right. Elder Tan nodded when he heard this. He pointed at the Qinkuan bags in Fong Peng's and the others' hands and said, the items in these Qinkuan bags were taken by Qin Yun from the 4 unique sects. So Qin Yun destroyed the 4 unique sects. No wonder he was able to gather the materials to refine the Taishian underworld soul-nourishing pill in such a short time. Hearing Elder Tan's words, Ho Shihua suddenly showed a look of understanding as he understood where Mo Qin Yun's alchemy materials came from. Following this, the group began to discuss the allocation of resources and rebuilding the weapon talisman sect. inside the forbidden formation of the Sky Demon Talisman Sect. After waiting for 2 hours with Mo Qingyun, Yao Honghu, who had gone to gather the materials, returned to the forbidden formation with a frown on his face. Sect leader, what's wrong? Did you not gather all the materials? Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw Yao Honghu's expression. He hurriedly asked Yao Honghu about it. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Yao Honghu nodded solemnly and said, "We have found 99% of the materials. The only thing missing is the blood of the wildland's demonic beasts. More importantly, the wildland's demonic beasts were very powerful. I'm afraid we won't be able to get it with our current strength. Blood of the wildland's demonic beasts." Hearing Yao Honghu's words, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up. He had a plan in mind and said, "Sect leader, you don't have to worry. I have a way to get the blood of the wildland's demonic beasts." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't wait for Yao Honghu to speak and summoned the savage beast from the Soul Palace. Boom! Suddenly, a terrifying aura of the wildlands spread out from the savage beast's body. Seeing this, Yao Honghu's expression changed greatly. His eyes widened in shock, and he said, "A wildland's demonic beast. A wildland's demonic beast comparable to a ninth seal late stage demonic beast." This discovery shocked Yao Honghu quite a bit. The way he looked at Mo Qingyun changed. He hadn't expected that Mo Qingyun actually had a savage desolation demon beast with the strength of a ninth seal. After summoning the savage beast, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and ordered the savage beast, release some blood for me. I want to use it to refine a cauldron of pills. Yes, young lord. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, the savage beast released some blood and dripped it into the cup in Mo Qingyun's hand. With the savage beast's huge body, releasing some blood didn't affect it much. Chapter 1135. After obtaining the blood from the savage beast, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He took out the sacred beast cauldron and began refining pills. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was refining pills, the savage beast shook its head and stood up. It walked to an empty space at the side and lay down asleep. As for Yao Honghu, he had a shocked expression as he looked at the savage beast and Mo Qingyun in silence. The scene in front of him had a huge impact on him. He would never have imagined that Mo Qingyun would be the one raising this demonic beast with the desolate era's bloodline. This was because, with the savage beast's arrogant character, unless it was truly subservient to humans, it wouldn't take the initiative to release its blood even if you killed it. Qingyun, this little fellow, I really can't see through him. Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was refining pills, Yao Honghu's expression became a little complicated. He couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Next, Yao Honghu and the savage beast guarded Mo Qingyun's side to prevent any strange movements from the invincible blade. When Yao Honghu turned to look at the invincible blade, he realized that there was an additional golden array around the invincible blade. Because of the savage beast's blood and the savage beast, Yao Honghu didn't notice that there was an additional array around the invincible blade. Array. After realizing this, Yao Honghu couldn't help but be shocked. Shock rose in his heart once again. He turned to look at Mo Qingyun and muttered to himself, "Could this array also be set up by Qingyun?" After seeing this array, Yao Honghu's expression became serious as he carefully observed the array. After a round of observation, Yao Honghu's expression immediately changed, revealing shock as he said, This is a level 8 middle-rank Buddhist array formation, the Great Prajna Thunderclap Meditation Array. I didn't expect that Qingyun actually knows such an array formation. No, level 8. Level 8 array. Qingyun is a level 8 array supremacy. After Yao Honghu muttered to himself, he discovered the key point, and a shocked expression appeared on his face again. Venerated Pill, Venerated Array, Ninth Seal Talisman Overlord, and Ninth Seal Talisman Overlord level Savage Beasts. At this moment, One word after another flashed through Yao Honghu's mind, causing him to become even more unfamiliar with Mo Qingyun. It seems that the things that this little fellow has experienced in these 10 years are not something that I can imagine. Yao Honghu calmed the shock in his heart and looked at Mo Qingyun with a much gentler gaze. He said with gratification, "In the future, under his leadership, our Sky Demon Talisman sect will definitely surpass all the sects in the Immortal Path." Subsequently, Yao Honghu no longer thought about it as he silently stood guard for Mo Qingyun. Time slowly passed. About 5 days later, a rich pill fragrance wafted out from the Holy Beast Cauldron. Success. Smelling the pill fragrance coming from the Sacred Beast Cauldron, Yao Honghu's expression immediately became happy, and his expression became excited and nervous. Under Yao Honghu's gaze, a strange scene formed above the Holy Beast Cauldron. The elixir image appeared. After the elixir image appeared, Mo Qingyun, who was in the midst of refining the elixir, raised his hand and formed a strange handprint. Once the handprint was formed, Mo Qingyun struck the wishful, clear, evil, repelling elixir in the cauldron, allowing it to merge with the elixir image. After a while, the elixir image merged with the wishful, clear, evil, repelling elixir and slowly flew into Mo Qingyun's hand. Seeing that the wishful, clear, evil, repelling elixir was successfully refined, Mo Qingyun sent it into the mouth of the invincible blade, dispelling the evil thoughts in the invincible blade's heart. As the elixir entered the mouth, the invincible blade let out a painful cry, and his expression revealed a look of struggle. Following that, the aura of the invincible blade began to become chaotic, sometimes violent and bloodthirsty, sometimes calm. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun's expression became solemn. He raised his hand to condense a handprint and struck it into the invincible blade's celestial spirit. As Mo Qingyun's handprint struck the invincible blade's celestial spirit, the invincible blade's expression became much more relaxed. Following that, a wisp of clarity emerged in the eyes of the invincible blade. Seeing the behavior of the invincible blade, Mo Qingyun's expression became solemn. He said to him in a low voice, "Concentrate your mind and refine the wishful, clear, evil, repelling elixir. I will help you to defeat the evil thoughts in your body." Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the invincible blade did not hesitate at all and began to refine the wishful, clear, evil, repelling elixir in his body. As the invincible blade continued to refine the wishful, clear, evil, repelling elixir, the evil thoughts emitted from his body began to become lighter and lighter. After a few hours, the invincible blade's body finally did not have the slightest bit of evil thoughts, and he returned to his normal state. "Thank you, Master, for saving me." Coming out of the state of madness, the invincible blade showed a respectful expression and bowed to Mo Qingyun. "No need to be so polite. Get up." Seeing the action of the invincible blade, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and waved his hand. He lifted the invincible blade who was kneeling on the ground and said, "Now that the 10-year deadline is up, you have fulfilled the original agreement. From now on, you are no longer my servant." Speaking of this, Mo Qingyun showed a grateful look. He patted the shoulder of the invincible blade and said, "In addition, the reason why you ended up like this is also because you took revenge for senior brother Mo. In fact, I owe you a favor. Solving problems for Master is what the invincible blade should do." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the invincible blade humbly bent down and shook his head with an ashamed expression. He said, "Master, you don't know. As my pseudo-massacre bloodline continues to strengthen, the drawbacks of this bloodline become more and more obvious. The evil thoughts produced by the massacre also become stronger and stronger. Even if I don't use the secret technique, I believe that I will enter the state of madness soon." After hearing the words of the invincible blade, Mo Qingyun nodded and agreed with the words of the invincible blade. He said, "It is indeed easy to produce evil thoughts because of the massacre. However, some of the ancient Buddhist cultivation methods have the effect of purifying the soul and erasing the evil thoughts. You can cultivate another Buddhist cultivation method when you are upgrading the power of the bloodline to erase the evil thoughts in your heart. Thank you, Master, for your reminder. I understand. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the eyes of the invincible blade could not help but light up, as if he had found a cultivation method. Next, Mo Qingyun said a few more words to the invincible blade. Then, he got up and walked out of the forbidden formation. He said, "During this period of time, your mind has been disturbed by the evil thoughts, causing your mind to be exhausted. You can cultivate and heal your mind here first." Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the invincible blade nodded respectfully and sat down to recover his mind. "Sect leader, let's go." Seeing that the invincible blade sat down and began to recover his exhausted mind, Mo Qingyun said to Yao Honghu, "Okay." Hearing this, Yao Honghu opened the forbidden formation and left with Mo Qingyun. After leaving the forbidden formation, Yao Honghu had a dignified expression. He looked at Mo Qingyun and asked, "Qingyun, the wilderness pageant that I told you about last time will start in half a year. When are you going to go to the massacre path?" Wilderness pageant. Chapter 1136. From the path of immortality to the path of killing. 3 months is enough. Yao Honghu heard Mo Qingyun's reply and did not urge Mo Qingyun to leave immediately. Instead, he changed the topic and said, "Qingyun, I have already considered the matter of removing the seal on the sect that you told me previously. We will hold the grand reopening ceremony in 10 days. Yes, we will have to face it eventually. It's better to come earlier." After hearing Yao Honghu's decision, Mo Qingyun nodded in agreement and asked, "Sect leader, do you know where Hejilan is now?" Hejilan? Yao Honghu frowned slightly as he recalled the information about Hejilan. After pondering for a while, he said, "The Hejilan you're talking about is the girl from the same sect as you at the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering 10 years ago, right?" "Yes, she is." Mo Qingyun nodded. Before Li Lulin's son, Li Liangshun, was killed, she seemed to be under house arrest in the Dao Talisman sect. "I'm not sure where she is now." After Yao Honghu told Mo Qingyun what he knew, his expression turned serious, and he said, "If you want to know where she is, I can send some disciples to investigate immediately. I believe there will be news about her soon. There's no need to go through so much trouble. I will personally make a trip to the Dao Talisman sect later." After hearing Yao Honghu's words, Mo Qingyun shook his head and rejected Yao Honghu's good intentions. "That's not right." After knowing Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Yao Honghu immediately objected and said, "Qingyun, the Dao Talisman sect has an extremely deep foundation. Even the Sky Demon Talisman sect cannot be compared to it. You must not enter the Dao Talisman sect rashly." "Sect leader, don't worry. No one in the Dao Talisman sect can hurt me." In response to Yao Honghu's worried words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and did not take the Dao Talisman sect seriously at all. After Mo Qingyun said this, Yao Honghu's expression became even more serious. He felt that Mo Qingyun was a little too confident. Then, a worried expression appeared on Yao Honghu's face as he continued to persuade Mo Qingyun. However, before Yao Honghu could say anything, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "Sect leader, if you don't believe me, you can try to exchange a few blows with me." "Exchange of blows with you?" Yao Honghu's expression froze. He was surprised by Mo Qingyun's thoughts. After being stunned for a short while, Yao Honghu's expression became excited as he impatiently said, "All right, then let this old man experience the strength of our heavenly devil talisman sect's #1 genius in history of..." "Sect leader, what are you and Qingyun doing?" Along the way, a few elders of the Sky Demon Talisman sect were curious when they saw Yao Honghu and Mo Qingyun's actions. "I want to exchange blows with Qingyun." Yao Honghu looked meaningfully at Mo Qingyun when he heard the elders' question and explain their plan. The surrounding elders were stunned when they heard Yao Honghu's words. They thought that they had heard wrongly. "What? Sect leader, you want to exchange blows with Qingyun?" Aren't you bullying Qingyun? Qingyun, you must not exchange blows with sect leader. His cultivation was already at the great circle of the ninth seal 1,000 years ago. Furthermore, sect leader has been torturing his opponents every time he has exchanged blows with them. You must not agree to his request. Some of the elders could not bear to see Mo Qingyun fight with Yao Honghu. They whispered to Mo Qingyun to persuade him. At this moment, they could already foresee Mo Qingyun's miserable fate. Ahem! Yao Honghu looked embarrassed when he saw the elders' actions. He coughed a few times. From the looks of it, what the elders had said was true. Those opponents that he had fought with had indeed been badly beaten up by him. If that was the case, then Mo Qingyun's decision to fight him was indeed not a wise one. The elders immediately shut their mouths when they saw Yao Honghu's coughs. They were afraid that Yao Honghu would ask them to exchange blows. Yao Honghu smiled faintly when he saw that the elders had shut their mouths. He said to Mo Qingyun, "Qingyun, don't listen to the elders' nonsense. I'll just raise my cultivation to the same level as yours when we exchange blows later." "Haha, it's fine." Mo Qingyun smiled indifferently at Yao Honghu's words. He did not mind at all. "Sect leader, let's go." In Mo Qingyun's opinion, he was only sparring with Yao Honghu to reassure him that he had the ability to come and go as he pleased in Dao Talisman's sect. As for Yao Honghu's strength, it was not particularly important to him. He believed that if he used all his trump cards, he would be able to defeat Yao Honghu with lightning speed. Aside from that, Mo Qingyun did this because he wanted to test just how strong he was by fighting with Yao Honghu. Therefore, he naturally could not let go of Yao Honghu, a perfect ninth seal symbol dominator, as a sparring partner. Under Yao Honghu's lead, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of a huge underground palace. The underground palace was extremely large, spanning several tens of thousands of meters in diameter. A powerful ancient formation had been set up around it. The level of this formation seems to have surpassed the scope of a grade 9 formation. After seeing the formation, Mo Qingyun's expression could not help but change. He was secretly alarmed. Since Sky Demon Talisman Sect has such a formation, Dao Talisman Sect must also have such a formation. This formation is enough to pose a great threat to me. Looks like I have to be careful when heading to Dao Talisman Sect. After sizing up the formation outside the underground palace, Missouri Qingyun silently raised a trace of vigilance in his heart. He was more vigilant about heading to Dao Talisman Sect. After standing outside the underground palace's battle arena for a moment, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and walked into the underground palace's battle arena. "Qingyun, in that case I won't be polite." Seeing Mo Qingyun walk into the underground palace, Yao Honghu revealed an impatient expression and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Under Yao Honghu's attack, a black rune rapidly condensed and emitted a destructive demonic aura. Soon, the black rune grew rapidly and turned into a huge black demonic shadow. It bombarded Mo Qingyun, a demonic shadow comparable to a late-stage sovereign realm expert. Seeing the huge demonic shadow approaching, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly and his body emitted a strong fighting spirit. Then, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and charged towards the demonic shadow. In a few flashes, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of the demonic shadow and directly punched at it. Under Mo Qingyun's punch, a huge yuan energy fist condensed and collided with the demonic shadow's fist. Bang, bang, bang. After the two fists collided, a deafening sound was immediately heard and a terrifying yuan energy storm was created. At the same time that the yuan chi storm was produced, the black rune turned into a demonic shadow and its body collapsed in an instant. It exploded with a punch. The demonic shadow comparable to a late-stage sovereign realm expert was actually not a match for Mo Qingyun's punch. After seeing this scene, Yao Honghu and the others were instantly stunned. They felt that the scene in front of them was unreal. Chapter 1137. Vice Sectmaster. Am I seeing things? Sect Master's Dark Sky Demon Divine Seal was destroyed by Qing Yun in one punch. Qing Yun is too ruthless. The power of his punch alone is no weaker than a perfected Ninth Seal Talisman Overlord. Haha, I'm afraid Sect Master won't win too easily this time. It's best if he loses once. If Sect Master loses to Qing Yun, let's see if he can find anyone to spar with in the future. You old fogies are too evil. But that's what I think too. The elders who've been bullied by Yao Honghu smiled in satisfaction when they saw him lose in one blow. If Yao Honghu was here and heard the words of these elders, he would probably be furious. What a domineering origin power attack. I didn't expect you to cultivate the origin power of the human race as well. No wonder you're so confident. Yao Honghu was pleasantly surprised when he saw Mo Qingyun's performance. He was very satisfied with Mo Qingyun's performance. It was a great blessing for the Sky Demon Talisman sect that such a cultivation prodigy had appeared. In Yao Honghu's opinion, given Mo Qingyun's cultivation talent, no one on the path to immortality would be his match once he reached the perfected Ninth Seal Talisman Overlord level. Very good. Next, let me see the full strength of the number 1 genius of the Sky Demon Talisman sect. Yao Honghu praised Mo Qingyun. Then, with an expectant expression, he attacked Mo Qingyun without holding back. For symbols demonic beast seals. After Yao Honghu took out 4 talismans with different beast patterns, they turned into 4 figures that were hundreds of meters tall. When the 4 towering figures appeared, they emitted 4 waves of perfected law power and formed 4 imposing law storms. Not only that, but when the 4 law storms were formed, they seemed to be connected to each other. From this, it could be seen that these 4 tall beasts had also mastered a joint attack type combat skill. Seeing Yao Honghu's move, all the elders outside the underground palace's battle arena revealed indignant expressions. Sect Master is too shameless. He even used the 4 symbols demonic beast seal. This is too much of a bully. I remember that last time, Yao Buchuan, Yao Huishan, and Li Miaoxian, the 3 grand elders, joined forces and failed to break the 4 symbols demonic beast seal. The 4 symbols beast demon seal is the most profound martial art of our Sky Demon Talisman sect. It said that no one in the 9th Seal Talisman Lord realm can break it. In other words, the sect leader is invincible after using the 4 symbols demonic beast seal. Sigh. If that's the case, I hope Qingyun won't be tortured too badly. Seeing Yao Honghu take out 4 seals, the elders outside the underground palace had completely given up on Mo Qingyun's victory. Compared to the mood of the elders, Yao Honghu was in an extremely good mood. He smiled faintly as he sized up Mo Qingyun. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun was bound to lose in the face of the 4 symbols demonic beast joint attack. What he needed to do now was to control the 4 symbols demonic beast to fight with Mo Qingyun and force Mo Qingyun to show his true strength. 4 perfected 9th Seal Talisman Lord Realm Devil Beasts. With these 4 guys as my sparring partners, I should be able to test his true strength. Looking at the 4 behemoths closing in on him, Mo Qingyun showed an expression of anticipation and went up to meet them head-on. Scorching sun. Soon, a huge fire shield appeared around Mo Qingyun's body. After the fire shield appeared, the temperature in the underground palace's arena instantly reached 1,000,000 degrees. Under the corrosion of this terrifying temperature, even Yao Honghu, with his cultivation, felt that it was a little unbearable. At the same time, the elders standing outside the underground palace's arena retreated in shock. What a terrifying power of the law of fire. It can actually penetrate this ancient formation and cause us some damage. If an ordinary 9th Seal Talisman Lord were to encounter such a terrifying power of the law of fire, he would probably be burned to ashes. It seems that we have all underestimated Mo Qingyun. It won't be easy for the sect master to defeat him. That's right. Mo Qingyun's true strength may have already surpassed ours. This kid is really a monster. Was he really only a 6th Seal Talisman Master 10 years ago? After witnessing Mo Qingyun's terrifying strength, the elders were shocked and felt a strong blow to their hearts. At this moment, while the elders were feeling depressed, the four demonic beasts arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and threw a tyrannical punch at Mo Qingyun. In order to test the defensive power of the Scorching Sun Shield, Mo Qingyun did not dodge or block the attacks of the four demonic beasts. Instead, he allowed their attacks to hit the shield. Bang, 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 bang. Four loud bangs were heard in succession. The Scorching Sun Shield around Mo Qingyun's body was constantly shaking under the attacks of the four demonic beasts. Even so, the shield was not directly destroyed. Instead, it forcefully withstood the attacks of the four demonic beasts. He withstood it. The Raging Flame Shield had actually forcefully resisted the full force attacks of four Ninth Seal Talisman Overlords. The defensive power of the Raging Flame Shield was simply too frightening. In this way, with Mo Qingyun's terrifying defensive power, it would be difficult for someone at the Sovereign Realm to injure him. He withstood it. This kid. Yao Honghu and the elders trembled when they saw Mo Qingyun's performance. Their eyes were filled with horror. At this moment, they truly realized how terrifying Mo Qingyun's strength was. The strength that Mo Qingyun displayed was enough to crush any Ninth Seal Talisman Lord. However, was this Mo Qingyun's full strength? While Yao Honghu and the others were puzzled, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. He said excitedly, as expected of a cultivation technique cultivated by an immortal. Just the first form of the Celestial Fury technique at the Greater Mastery level is able to withstand the attacks of four Ninth Seal Talisman Lords. If I cultivate the first form to the Greater Mastery level, won't I be able to withstand the attacks of an immortal? Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun revealed an excited expression. He was looking forward to the full power of the Celestial Fury technique. Since the power of the Scorching Sun Shield has been tested, it's time to test the other aspects of the technique. Mo Qingyun calmed himself down. He no longer hesitated and attacked the four devil beasts, engaging them in a fierce battle. As he continued to fight with the four demonic beasts, Mo Qingyun quickly gained a clear understanding of his own strength. With his current strength, if he didn't use any trump cards or offensive martial arts, just his physical strength alone was enough to fight against a Sovereign Realm expert in the perfection stage. If he used any martial arts, he should be able to easily kill an ordinary Sovereign Realm expert. Of course, to deal with someone like Yao Honghu, he still had to put in a lot of effort and use his powerful trump cards. Chapter 1138. With my current combat strength, I should be able to kill anyone who hasn't surpassed the Sovereign Realm. After the battle with the four devil beasts, Mo Qingyun had a clear understanding of his own strength. With a clear understanding of his own strength, Mo Qingyun didn't want to waste any more time. He smiled faintly and said, "In that case, it's time to end the battle." Golden Snake Flashing Halberd. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he took out the immortal burning halberd and quickly swung it at Yao Honghu. After Mo Qingyun swung his halberd, a golden light flashed on his body. Then, he disappeared from where he stood. After a while, when Mo Qingyun's figure reappeared, he was holding the immortal burning halberd against Yao Honghu's neck. At this moment, if Mo Qingyun's halberd moved an inch further, Yao Honghu's neck would have been pierced. Seeing this, Yao Honghu couldn't help but turn pale. He felt like he was about to die. Fortunately, Mo Qingyun was only exchanging pointers with him and not really fighting to the death. Otherwise, at that moment, he would have become a dead man. Sect Master, you lost. With the immortal burning halberd against Yao Honghu's neck, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and pulled the halberd back. I lost. Looking at the halberd that was only inches away from his neck, Yao Honghu shook his head with a wry smile and said, I originally thought that with your cultivation talent, you would need at least 10 years to become a top existence in the Immortal Road. Now it seems that we were wrong. Yao Honghu couldn't be blamed for underestimating Mo Qingyun's strength. The main reason was that Mo Qingyun's progress was too fast. Mo Qingyun only smiled faintly at Yao Honghu's words. He didn't take it to heart and asked, "Sect Master, do you have any objections to me going to the Tao Talisman sect? Since even I am no match for you, with your current strength, it shouldn't be a problem for you to be careful in the Tao Talisman sect." Since he was aware of Mo Qingyun's true strength, Yao Honghu naturally had no objections to Mo Qingyun heading to the Tao Talisman sect. At this moment, after Yao Honghu finished speaking, his expression suddenly became serious. Then, Mo Qingyun saw Yao Honghu's right hand shake as he took out a mask that resembled human skin. This is the 10,000 change mask left behind by the ancient 10,000 change gate. It can change into anyone's appearance according to the will of the user. Yao Honghu took out the human skin mask and explained its uses. This myriad transformation mask can only be used 5 times. I've already used it 4 times, so I can still use it one last time. I'm giving it to you now. I hope it will be of some help to you when you enter the Tao Talisman sect. Thank you, Sect Master. Mo Qingyun immediately thanked Yao Honghu and took the face of myriad transformations from Yao Honghu. With the help of the face of myriad transformations, Mo Qingyun's entry into the Tao Talisman sect would be much smoother. All right, let's go out. After handing the face of myriad transformations to Mo Qingyun, Yao Honghu smiled faintly at Mo Qingyun. He didn't take his defeat to heart at all. Perhaps in his opinion, the stronger Mo Qingyun was, the better it would be for the Sky Demon Talisman sect. Whether Mo Qingyun went to the Wasteland continent in the future or continued to stay in the Sky Demon Talisman sect, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Okay. Seeing Yao Honghu walking out of the Underground Palace arena, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer and followed Yao Honghu out of the Underground Palace arena. Sect Master. Seeing Yao Honghu walking out of the Underground Palace arena, the elders outside the Underground Palace arena looked at him with strange expressions. Just now, the situation of Mo Qingyun and Yao Honghu's battle, all the elders saw it very clearly. In the face of Mo Qingyun's attack, Yao Honghu was almost powerless to resist Mo Qingyun's halberd. For Yao Honghu, this was the first time this had happened since he became the sect master. Yao Honghu naturally knew what the elders were thinking. He smiled slyly and said, "I'm sorry to disappoint you. This time, I've suffered a crushing defeat." Hearing Yao Honghu's straightforward admission of defeat, the elders' expressions changed, and they couldn't come to their senses for a moment. This wasn't Yao Honghu's style of doing things. Sect Master, you can't blame yourself for being weak. The main thing is that Qingyun's strength is too abnormal. That's right, Qingyun's strength is too abnormal. This isn't the strength of an ordinary person. Sect Master, as ordinary people, we can't compete with an abnormal monster. After a short moment of shock, the elders put on serious expressions and comforted Yao Honghu righteously. Mo Qingyun, who had just walked out of the Underground Palace's battle arena, heard the elders' words and was stunned. He smiled bitterly. These guys are too direct. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk out, the elders smiled awkwardly and threw an apologetic look at Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun understood the elders' feelings and couldn't be bothered to argue with them. At this moment, Yao Honghu, who was at the side, was silent for a moment. However, he sighed and said, "This time, after losing to Qingyun, this sect master understood one thing. That is, this sect master's strength has regressed. It seems that in the future, I have to cultivate diligently. Elders, I will have to trouble you in the future." Sect master, you. After hearing Yao Honghu's words, the elders' expressions changed, and they all turned pale with fright. What a joke. Every time they fought with Yao Honghu, they would be tortured badly by Yao Honghu. If they were to be Yao Honghu's sparring partners for a long time, they would be toyed to death. This was not something they wanted to see. Sect Master, when I saw your battle with Qingyun just now, I suddenly had an epiphany. I'm afraid I'll have to go into seclusion for some time. Sect Master, I suddenly realized that my cultivation is about to break through to the ninth seal late stage, symbol overlord. I won't accompany you for now. Sect Master, my wife is about to give birth. I'll take my leave too. In a short while, all the elders in front of Mo Qingyun and Mo Qingyun had run away. After seeing this scene, Yao Honghu couldn't help but be stunned. He looked at Mo Qingyun awkwardly. Seeing Yao Honghu's expression, Mo Qingyun was also stunned and misunderstood Yao Honghu's meaning. He said, Sect Master, since the elders are busy, why don't I accompany you in your cultivation? No, there's no need. When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Honghu's expression immediately changed, and he hurriedly rejected Mo Qingyun's good intentions. Qingyun, I also had some epiphanies in my battle with you just now, so I won't accompany you. After speaking, Yao Honghu did not wait for Mo Qingyun to speak and directly ran off. When he saw Yao Honghu's actions, Mo Qingyun could not help but smile bitterly and shake his head. He secretly sighed. Birds of a feather flock together. Sect Master and the elders are really alike. Since everything is settled, it's time to head to Dao, symbol sect. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and muttered to himself. He did not linger and prepared to set off for Dao symbol sect. Chapter 1139. The Dao Talisman Sect was located not far from the Sky Demon Talisman Sect. Mo Qingyun rode Savage Beast at full speed. 3 days later, he arrived at a city at the foot of the Dao Talisman Sect's mountain, the Ancestor Talisman City. It was said that the founder of the Dao Talisman Sect was born in the Ancestor Talisman City. In order to commemorate the founder of the Dao Talisman Sect, the younger generation of the Dao Talisman Sect built a city here. Mo Qingyun briefly sized up the Ancestor Talisman City before he kept Savage Beast into the Soul Palace. He then lifted his leg and walked into the Talisman Clan City. As the birthplace of the founder of the Dao Talisman Sect, the Ancestor Talisman City was naturally highly valued by the Dao Talisman Sect. They had set up a branch here specifically to maintain the security of the Dao Talisman Sect. As the Dao Talisman Sect had set up a branch in the Ancestor Talisman City, Mo Qingyun could see the disciples of the Dao Talisman Sect everywhere in the city. The auction of the Ancestor Pavilion has begun. It is said that there are many treasures being auctioned this time around. While Mo Qingyun was walking in the city, there was a commotion in front of him. Many excited voices could be heard. When Mo Qingyun saw the actions of these people, he frowned slightly and asked curiously, Ancestor Pavilion, I can go and take a look. After Mo Qingyun muttered to himself, he no longer hesitated and followed the crowd to the Ancestor Pavilion. After a while, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of an ancient palace. This was the Ancestor Pavilion that everyone was talking about. The Ancestor Pavilion's construction was very unique. It was divided into two parts, the inner hall and the outer hall. The inner hall was no different from an ordinary auction house. The outer hall was a viewing platform. Moreover, one could freely enter the outer hall from the outside of the Ancestor Pavilion to observe the auction held by the Ancestor Pavilion. After sizing up the Ancestor Pavilion, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and lifted his leg to walk into the inner hall of the Ancestor Pavilion. Mister, may I know if you would like to bid or purchase an item? Upon seeing Mo Qingyun enter the inner hall of the symbol Ancestor Pavilion, an ordinary shop assistant walked up to Mo Qingyun and asked. Hearing the shop assistant's question, Mo Qingyun hesitated for a moment, then said in a deep voice, I want to sell some items. I wonder if you are buying them here? Previously, when Mo Qingyun broke through to the Sovereign Realm, all the Pill Palace origin crystals on him had been used up. Now that he wanted to bid for something, he needed to exchange for some soul essence stones so that he wouldn't be able to buy the things he needed. Mo Qingyun hadn't considered directly snatching the auction item yet. Chapter 1140. Senior Brother Chong Wei, what should we do now? when they saw Mo Qingyun walking out of the room. The disciples of Dao Charm sect were anxious as they asked the descendant of the founder of Dao Charm sect, "Let's follow him." A sinister smile appeared on Chang Wei's face when he heard the crowd's question. He looked as though he had Mo Qingyun under his control as he replied, "I, Chang Wei, have never failed to capture anyone in Symbol Ancestor City." Then, Chang Wei and the rest stopped hesitating and followed Mo Qingyun out of the room. Huo Weirong and Ma Qianli sighed when they saw Chang Wei and the rest leaving the room. They sympathized with Mo Qingyun. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun would most likely die for encountering Tsun Takashi and the others. Humph! Tsun Takashi and the others had just caught up when Mo Qingyun noticed their actions. A faint smile appeared on the corners of his mouth as he muttered to himself, "Tsun Takashi has an extraordinary status in the Dao Talisman sect. If I enter the Dao Talisman sect with his identity, I'm sure things will be much smoother." When this thought appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind, he had a plan and knew what to do next. After coming out of the room, Mo Qingyun did not stop and rushed out of Ancestor Symbol City. Trying to escape? Chang Wei and the rest sneered when they saw Mo Qingyun's actions. Murderous intent flashed across their eyes. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun leaving Ancestor Symbol City was no different from courting death. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived outside Ancestor Symbol City with Chang Wei and the rest following behind him. "Kid, stop running. You can't run away." Chang Wei lost his patience and said impatiently when he saw that they were far away from Ancestor Symbol City. When Mo Qingyun heard Chang Wei's words, he stopped and looked at Chang Wei and the rest with a faint smile. "Are you so sure that I'm running away?" Glancing at Tsun Takashi and the others before him, Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking smile as if he was looking at a group of lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Tsun Takashi and the others were stunned. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's performance. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun's strength was not bad as he had reached the 8th Seal Talisman Venerable level. However, with Mo Qingyun's strength alone, he would still be slaughtered by more than 10 8th Seal Talisman Venerables. Therefore, Mo Qingyun should be panicking when facing these people. "Kid, I'm afraid you still don't know, right? We are all core disciples of the Dao Talisman sect, and we all have the strength to fight those above our level. In other words, the people standing before you are all experts comparable to 9th Seal Talisman overlords. As for our senior brother Chang Wei, he once fought against an intermediate talisman overlord with 9 seals and fought to a draw. He needed immortal stones for his cultivation and controlling the spiritual puppet to fight. If he could get these immortal stones, it would solve his urgent need. Everyone, the next auction item is a type of cultivation spiritual stone from the wild continent, immortal stones. After opening the box, the auctioneer revealed a brilliant smile and introduced the celestial stones to everyone. He continued, "Even the wasteland continent, celestial stones are an extremely precious cultivation resource. Moreover, they're the common currency of the wasteland continent. If everyone has the chance to enter the wasteland continent, celestial stones will be a must-have for you." Then, the auctioneer praised the immortal stones as if they were extremely precious items. However, the people below clearly didn't buy it. They all had impatient expressions. "Old man Chung, stop spouting nonsense. Immortal stones are of no use to us. We are not cultivators who cultivate origin energy." "That's right. Is it so easy to go to the wild continent? Just going through the killing path is already dangerous. Things like immortal stones should be left for those rich fools to collect. We have no interest in them." Looking at the attitude of these people, they didn't seem to be interested in immortal stones. None of them had any intention of bidding. Haha, since that's the case, I won't waste any more time. Chapter 1142. I bid 100 billion origin spirit stones. As soon as the auctioneer announced the bidding price, Mo Qingyun raised his hand without hesitation and announced his own bidding price. To Mo Qingyun, even if he did not buy anything else in this auction, he would make a profit as long as he could get these immortal stones. Mo Qingyun's words attracted everyone's attention. Each and every one of them looked at him like he was an idiot. Mo Qingyun was slightly stunned when he saw the crowd's reaction. He did not expect the crowd to react so strongly. However, when the crowd saw that the person who made the bid was the genius of Dao Talisman's sect, Chong Wei, they immediately looked at him with admiration. The way they looked at Mo Qingyun changed drastically as they were filled with flattery. I did not expect young Master Chong Wei to be interested in immortal stones. I have collected some immortal stones before. I can give them to young Master Chong Wei later. I also have a few thousand immortal stones here. If young Master Chong Wei doesn't mind, you could take them later. Young Master Chong Wei is collecting immortal stones to prepare for entering the wild continent. If that's the case, I will fulfill your wish. In an instant, everyone in the auction hall smiled faintly as they tried to curry favor with Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun was surprised by the crowd's actions. He did not expect this at all. He did not expect that he would receive tens of thousands of immortal stones out of thin air. Everyone was trying to curry favor with Mo Qingyun, and they did not need immortal stones. Therefore, after Mo Qingyun announced the bid, no one else made another bid. This allowed Mo Qingyun to obtain 67,000 immortal stones with 100 billion origin spirit stones. Such a gain was beyond Mo Qingyun's expectations. He thought that he would have to go through an intense competition to obtain these immortal stones. He did not expect it to be so easy. Senior Brother Chong Wei, do you really need immortal stones? Senior Brother Chong Wei, are you really preparing to enter the wild continent? Nonsense. With Senior Brother Chong Wei's talent, he'll definitely be able to clear the path of slaughter in the next savage meet. While Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised, the Dao Talisman sect disciples behind him were looking at him in astonishment. In response to everyone's questions, Mo Qingyun faintly smiled and nodded. With a heroic expression, he said, "For me, this path of immortality is still too small. I want to go outside and take a look." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone revealed an envious and admiring expression. They yearned for the world outside the path of immortality. However, they knew very well that with their talent, they couldn't leave the path of immortality. According to those who had returned from the path of slaughter, if one wanted to reach the desolate continent through the path of slaughter, they would have to kill their way through the endless horde of demonic beasts. However, the strength of those demonic beasts had reached the sovereign realm and sovereign realm. They weren't something that ordinary people could contend against. Every time the savage grand opened, many geniuses from the 7 great ancient roads would enter. However, only 1 or 2 people would be able to pass through the path of slaughter. The rest of the people were all left in the path of slaughter. More importantly, even if they passed through the path of slaughter, so what? After entering the desolate continent, they would become the lowest existence and would have to start climbing up again. If one wanted to rise up from the desolate continent, it would undoubtedly be thousands of times more difficult. It wasn't something that ordinary people could do. As a result, many people lost interest in the path of slaughter. Only true geniuses would attempt it. Therefore, those who dared to brave the path of slaughter would be respected and worshipped by everyone. These people were all people with extraordinary talent. Next, Mo Qingyun chatted with the Dao Talisman sect disciples while auctioning the items. The later items in the auction were not particularly valuable. They were either some ancient talismans or some powerful talisman soldiers. These items weren't particularly useful to Mo Qingyun, so he didn't bid for them. After about a few hours, when the auctioneer auctioned off the previous item and took out another one, Mo Qingyun's expression instantly became serious. A broken longbow appeared in the auctioneer's hand. The bowstring of the longbow was completely rotten. Not only that, but even the body of the longbow was rusty and its original appearance couldn't be seen clearly. If someone who didn't know the value of the longbow saw it, they would definitely think it was a piece of scrap metal. However, when Mo Qingyun saw it, he immediately realized that it was extraordinary. This was because Mo Qingyun sensed the same aura from the longbow as the immortal incineration battle halberd. It was a feeling that made one's heart palpitate. This was an immortal longbow. If I bid for this immortal longbow, it would be a good choice whether to repair it or let the immortal incineration battle halberd devour it. Looking at the worn-out longbow in the auctioneer's hand, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but clench his fist. He silently made a decision. I must bid for this longbow. Just as Mo Qingyun made his decision, the auctioneer's expression turned serious. He pointed at the worn-out longbow and said, "This longbow was obtained by a nine-seal talisman overlord in an ancient secret realm." The auctioneer paused for a moment before continuing, "This longbow looks broken, but we once bombarded it with a nine-seal talisman soldier." Chapter 1143. Senior Brother Chong Wei, do you really want this broken bow? A disciple from the Tao Talisman sect, standing beside Mo Qingyun, asked him with a surprised expression. What's the matter? Mo Qingyun had some impression of this disciple. His name seemed to be Li Jichuan. Li Jichuan was very puzzled. Based on his understanding of Chong Wei should not be interested in such strange things. More importantly, based on Mo Qingyun's current behavior, he seemed to be planning to obtain the broken bow through the auction. This was not Chong Wei's character. Junior brother Li Jichuan, do you have any good ideas? Upon hearing Li Jichuan's question, Mo Qingyun looked curious and asked him. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, Li Jichuan should have some good ideas since he asked him this question. After hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Li Jichuan sneered and suggested to Mo Qingyun, Senior Brother Chong Wei, Hu Weirong provoked you just now. I can go to him now and tell him that you're giving him a chance to make up for his mistake. Let him lend you some origin spirit stones first. This way, you can bid for this broken bow, right? That's a good idea. Upon hearing Li Jichuan's words, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up, and he quickly nodded in agreement. Seeing that Mo Qingyun agreed to his suggestion, Li Jichuan sneered again and said, Senior Brother Chong Wei, with your status in Tao Talisman sect, Hu Weirong won't dare to do anything even if you don't return the origin spirit stones. This can be considered a punishment for his nonsense. Junior brother, good suggestion. Upon hearing Li Jichuan's suggestion, Mo Qingyun sneered and gave Li Jichuan a thumbs up. He was still thinking about how to punish Hu Weirong. He did not expect Li Jichuan to remind him. In that case, I'll call Hu Weirong over now. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had accepted his suggestion, Li Jichuan did not delay any longer and immediately went to call Hu Weirong over. A moment later, Hu Weirong arrived in front of Mo Qingyun with Li Jichuan leading the way. Seeing Hu Weirong's arrival, Mo Qingyun revealed an unhappy expression and said coldly to Hu Weirong, Pavilion Master Hu, I'm sure you already know why I called you here, right? I understand. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Hu Weirong's face revealed a nervous expression. He hurriedly nodded at Mo Qingyun in response. Although he was the pavilion master of the symbol ancestor pavilion, he could not afford to offend the little ancestor before him. It couldn't be helped. Soon Takashi's background was too great. Not only was he the descendant of the Tao Talisman School's founder, but he was also the grandson of the Tao Talisman School's patriarch, the personal disciple of the Tao Talisman School's patriarch, and one of the top 3 geniuses in the Tao Talisman School. Any one of these identities could easily crush him to death. They were not people that Hu Weirong could afford to offend.